Imagine sneaking into a girl's dorm expecting to get your ass handed to you, but instead, you end up getting admission to the college. That's the wild life of the powerful wind magic user Noah Harrington, a guy now stuck pretending to be a student for the rest of his life, all while hiding motives that are anything but academic. In a quiet town under the night sky, a precious necklace rests on a pillow. It's beautiful and shiny, but someone snatches it in a flash and starts dashing out. The guards protecting the necklace announces that a thief stole it and they should chase him, but the man in question doesn't see it that way. He is no ordinary criminal as he possesses magic powers, which he uses to fend off the guards chasing him. To the townspeople, he's a wizard, and they're right. But to be precise, he is a wind wizard. His mother's last words were to not use his powers, but since she left a hefty debt behind, he has to use those powers to pay it back. His name is Noah Harrington, and he calls himself the town's very own fixer, though he carries a hefty 50,000 debt on his head that he needs to pay. After escaping from the guards, Noah enters a pub where a buff, Andrew Tate-looking server waits for him. He places the stolen necklace in front of the man, hoping to be paid well, but to his shock, the bald guy tosses a small sack of coins onto the table. Noah is furious as it's not even 50 gold, and for that, he had to go through so many guards. However, the bald server ignores him as he notices someone else walking into the pub. He has been waiting for this person and hands them the necklace. It's an old lady who takes the necklace into her hands and her face lights up with happiness. It was all her daughter left behind before leaving this world. She offers just a bucket of baguettes in return for the necklace. She hands it over to the bald server, apologizing and saying it's all she can offer. The server assures her that the fixer will be grateful for it and tells her that if she needs anything else, she should feel free to ask. Noah listens to the entire exchange from right beside them. As the lady leaves, Noah grows frustrated, feeling like he's doing all the hard work while the server gets all the credit for it. The bald man, with a serious expression, warns him that if Noah's identity as someone who can use mana gets revealed, he will be drafted into the war. He advises Noah to stay low, pay off his debt, and avoid following in his father's footsteps. Hearing all that, our boy wants a tough challenge that will be worth his while, but to his disappointment, the bald man hands him a cute wolf teddy. Noah finds it a joke that he has to deliver something like that, but as the bald man reveals that the mission is worth 10,000 gold, Noah snatches it off the table and agrees. However, fear strikes him when the bald man explains that he has to deliver it to a girls' dormitory in Renée Academy. Noah is shocked since it's a place where nobody can get in, but the bald man increases the reward by another 10,000 gold. Like Mr. Krabs greedy for the greens, Noah snatches the teddy back from the bald man's hands and agrees to do it. While leaving for the mission, he looks back at the baldy with a smile, assuring him that he is capable of doing it. He says that, but as he navigates the academy from a cliff, he realizes that sneaking into it will be a tough job. There are wizards who can control all kinds of elements, genius inventors, and powerful summoners. Thinking about all of them, Noah feels chills running down his body. However, the 20,000 gold reward motivates him from the inside, making him anxious and nervous. Despite that, he decides to just do it since he only needs to deliver the teddy to a black-haired, red-eyed girl inside, and it will all be over. So Noah jumps onto the academy wall but is a bit surprised to find a force field there. However, he realizes it's stretched thin to cover the entire campus, so he can still get through it. He channels wind energy into his hand and, with a blow, manages to break through and get inside. Once inside, he sneaks from room to room, searching for the black-haired, red-eyed girl. However, he is shocked to find there are two girls with black hair. As it gets late, Noah considers leaving the teddy there for the girls to sort out themselves, but as the fixer, he knows he has to get it right. With trembling hands, he carefully opens one of the girl's eyes, and bingo, it's red. As he feels relieved to have found her, the girl wakes up and asks who he is. Noah freezes, and in that moment, the girl, in a flash, swings at him, which he barely dodges. She is shocked that he managed to dodge her attack despite her incredible speed. Meanwhile, as all this is happening, the other girl is peacefully sleeping. Noah, trembling on the ground, tries to explain himself, but the girl isn't having any of it as after all, he sneaked into her room and tried to open her eyes. Well, duh. Our boy tries to clarify that he's there for a favor, but this only makes her angrier as she misunderstands, thinking he came for some pervy kind of favor. In a last-ditch effort to save himself, Noah denies it, but despite his protests, the girl blasts him out into the hallway. Barely dodging, Noah starts sprinting for his life, while the girl chases after him with a book in her hand. Noah is screaming, begging for a chance to explain, but the girl firmly believes he's a pervert. Noah knows this isn't an easy gig, but he's prepared. As he sprints, he suddenly skids to a stop, turns back with a smile on his face, and sends a tornado toward her at flashing speed. However, as the tornado hurtles toward the girl, Noah realizes it might be too much, but it's already too late. The tornado blasts into her, but instead of harming her, it doesn't even leave a scratch. The girl, however, is stunned, realizing that Noah is a wizard. This also made her realize how he got into the academy through the force field. She reveals that at first, she was thinking of taking him alive, but now she has changed her mind. A maniacal grin spreads across her face, unsettling Noah. She opens the book she's carrying and, chanting a spell, calls out her summon, Garrosh. Noah is shocked by what he sees in front of him, as it is a monstrous wolf-like creature ready to tear him apart. It's then that Noah realizes the girl is actually a summoner. The beast wolf growls ferociously, ready to strike, as the girl introduces herself as Ilwaz. Noah isn't impressed by the timing of her introduction. However, stepping forward, she claims she's introducing herself so he knows who is responsible for taking his life. With a maniacal grin on her face, she tells Noah that he will die that night. Now Noah's nearly wetting his pants. As he processes the situation, the mighty beast lunges at him with its jaws wide open, while Noah remains frozen in fear. He's terrified, thinking he's facing a summoner worth 10,000 gold. But just as he's caught in this thought, the beast swings its claws at him. Noah manages to dodge by dashing to the side. Even though he narrowly escapes, the claws slash his shoulder. Immediately, Illo follows up with a fiery spell. Noah barely manages to dodge it, sending him tumbling face first to the ground. Both Illo and the beast are shocked by his quick reflexes, while Noah can't help but feel a rush of relief that he's still alive. As he's processing everything, another attack misses. Noah starts running, with both the beast and Illo hot on his heels. He runs through the entire academy, then blasts through a window, launching himself into the air with Illo still chasing him, refusing to let him escape that easily. As they're soaring through the sky, Noah spots another force field and leaps into the building protected by it. He's momentarily showered with shards of glass, but is more surprised that a student could be this crazy. As he catches his breath in the library building, an elf notices him. The elf is shocked that he's breached the force field and demands to know who Noah is. Panicking, Noah apologizes for breaking the window, but the elf, with a serious expression, says he doesn't care about that. He just wants to know who Noah is. Frozen in fear, Noah can't respond, so the elf disables the force field at the main door, allowing Illo to rush in. As she enters, the elf asks her about the situation, to which Illo reveals that Noah is a pervert who snuck into her room. However, Noah screams, arguing that she's lying. The elf, growing tired of Noah, uses his powerful magic to slam him down to the ground, pinning him there. Our boy trembles, unable to move, feeling the heavy force of the magic pressing down on him. Illo, calling the elf headmaster, assures him that she'll take care of Noah. However, the headmaster reveals that as a student, she can't administer punishment. Illo tries to argue, but the headmaster fixes her with a ferocious gaze and orders her to return to her room. Despite wanting to say more, Illo reluctantly agrees and leaves. Once she's gone, the headmaster begins interrogating Noah, starting by asking who he is since he doesn't look like one of his students. Noah lies, claiming he's lost, but the headmaster knows that the place he's in isn't one you wander into by mistake. The headmaster grows increasingly suspicious of Noah as he rambles on about not being a threat and a pervert. The headmaster then asks about his background, but Noah ignores him, casually whistling. The Grandmaster, picking up the teapot, reveals that he doesn't care where Noah comes from or who he is. He's trespassed on the academy grounds, which is a felony. The headmaster explains that it's his duty to investigate crimes, but he also has a responsibility to seek out talent. The fact that Noah was able to breach the force field impresses him, so the headmaster gives him two choices: join the academy or live the rest of his life as a low-life criminal. Noah falls silent, despair settling in as he processes the situation. He then asks, confirming if that's truly what the headmaster wants. Noah then starts arguing with the headmaster, pointing out how suspicious it is that he sent his students away, and suddenly starts interrogating an intruder like this. He knows that his enrollment might just be an excuse to make him do something for the headmaster. Noah also reveals that he's quite famous outside the walls. To prove it, he uses his wind magic to shatter the glass windows of the library. Laughing, Noah reveals that if word gets out about him breaking into the academy, he'll only get more famous. The headmaster, realizing Noah is more clever than he thought, asks what he wants. Noah calmly replies that the headmaster will have to pay up and make an official request for his enrollment, including tuition and any other exclusive costs. According to Noah, it could cost the headmaster a lot, so he asks what the headmaster intends to do about it. Hearing this, the headmaster looks at Noah with suspicious eyes. Illo returns to her room, muttering to herself about almost catching the pervert. She didn't expect him to end up in the headmaster's office. Frustrated, she slams the door shut, startling her roommate. She can hardly believe that a pervert managed to break into the headmaster's office, especially with all the security measures in place. He's clearly talented, but she can't help feeling it's wasted on such a lowly pursuit. Still fuming, she walks over to her bed. She is furious that he disrupted her sleep, and what makes it worse is that tomorrow is the midterm where she needs to be at her best. Now, the pervert has ruined that too. She pauses, pulling up her blanket, only to be surprised when she finds her toy, the one she left at home, on her bed. Confused, she stares at it, wondering what it's doing there. Meanwhile, inside the academy, a classroom buzzes with students gossiping among themselves. But when Illo enters, all eyes turn to him. As soon as Illo enters the classroom, the whispers begin. Some students mutter about her arrival, calling her a snob and referring to her as the future lord of the disloyal Sigrand. Illo doesn't seem bothered since she's used to the comments by now. She knows they call her a snob because they're jealous. She enrolled at the top of her class and has always been a consistent valedictorian. Another source of their jealousy is her family, the disloyal house of Sigrand. One student speaks loudly behind her back, claiming he heard that the Sigurs were the only family to oppose the king. According to him, they're always acting high and mighty. Illo hears every word clearly, thinking to herself that if they can't even confront her directly, then they have no right to call her a coward. But then, something explodes under her table, transforming her hands into snakes. The students burst into laughter as it's just a prank by one of her classmates. Illo remains calm, unfazed. She's the outcast of the class, the center of attention for all the wrong reasons. Suddenly, an announcement rings out, instructing all the students in the lecture hall to report to the arena. No one knows exactly what's going on, and some students begin to speculate that the class has been moved. Illo was the first to leave the hall. As she made her way out, she cast a spell and placed it on the wall. The spell was immediately triggered as the other students began to exit the room. The result was a transformation of their eyes into that of a cyclops, sparking an angry outburst from one of the students, who lashed out, calling Illo a bastard. It was clear to everyone that she was behind the prank. Meanwhile, Illo arrives at the arena. The supervisor asks where the others are, but Illo doesn't respond. After a few minutes of waiting, the students rush in, visibly angry. The supervisor is left speechless at the sight of them. Illo hands over the gun to her, which she uses to cancel the snake transformation. The supervisor takes it, her fury evident as she mutters about Illo showing up with snake fingers, and the students now looking like animals. She wonders aloud if the dungeon has opened. She shoots the neutralizing gun at them, and their transformed appearances immediately return to normal. She warns them sternly, telling them that if they ever fool around with magic again, there will be penalties. With that, the exam begins. Inside the academy, Noah walks down the hall in a pretty happy mood. He has been accepted into the academy and received a scholarship, which fills him with excitement. Soon, people will know that he is a fixer, and his services will be in high demand. He's thrilled at the prospect of paying off his debts once he graduates and becoming a free man. Suddenly, Noah bumps into someone. It turns out to be a small, cute creature, resembling the supervisor he saw earlier. The creature quickly asks if he's okay, but before he can respond, it grabs his hand and begins dragging him away. The creature explains that there's no time for pleasantries, as they are running late. But Noah is completely unaware of what is happening. He glances at the small creature still holding his hand, and wonders where they are going. The creature responds, mentioning that it's the day of the midterm exam, but Noah has no idea what that means. When they arrive at the arena, an explosion echoes just as they peer inside. The creature seems relieved to see they aren't late, but another explosion soon follows. Noah, now panicked, asks if the exam is really happening, as it seems more like a battle than anything else. The small creature considers this for a moment, and then asks Noah if it's his first time at the academy. It hasn't seen him before, and Noah's presence seems out of place, especially since it's already the day of the exam. Noah explains that he's a new student who just transferred today. The creature seems surprised, as it's uncommon for new students to arrive in the middle of the semester, especially on the first day of the exam. Curious about Noah's lack of understanding, the creature asks if he knows the rules of the exam. When Noah admits that he doesn't, the creature instructs him to observe the other students closely. It explains that each student will pick a ball from a box, and that ball will transform into a knight. The balls come in 7 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And the difficulty of the knight depends on the color of the ball. As the creature explains, one of the students selects a blue ball, and when it hits the ground, it explodes. From the explosion, a knight appears. Noah's eyes widen as he sees Illo, the maniac from last night, confronting the knight in the arena. The creature explains that Illo is a level 7, which makes it pretty obvious that she will pass the exam. She also reveals that Illo is a valedictorian, which shocks the boy, leaving him in disbelief. He then clenches his fists, deciding to see just how good she really is. Meanwhile, in the arena, Illo mounts her beast while loading fireballs into her hands and charges at the knight. Midway, she throws the fireballs toward the knight, and all of them hit. At first, it seems like they didn't do anything to the knight, but suddenly his armor starts breaking apart, shocking Noah, who is watching it all. As it falls, the supervisor announces Illo has passed the exam. Seeing this, Noah gets chills, thinking that if he had been caught last night, he might have ended up like that night. Illo also notices Noah and is shocked that this perv is wearing their uniform. Noah greets her jokingly, referring to her as psycho, but she is having none of it. She blazes with fury while screaming that he must be dying to end their fight from the night before. The supervisor, who is observing them both and disrupting the arena, steps in and scolds her for what she's doing in the middle of the exam. She turns toward Noah and asks if he's a new transfer. Anxious, Noah introduces himself. The supervisor reveals that he's next in line as there are no exceptions for the first day, so he better get ready for the test. She then calls out to the creature accompanying Noah, referring to it as Cootie, and says it's her turn next. Hearing this, Cootie prays under her breath for an easy ball. To her delight, she receives the yellow ball, which she knows is a piece of cake. She tosses the ball onto the ground, preparing herself. Like something straight out of a Pokemon battle, a heavily armored knight with a lengthy sword emerges from it. Noah watches in shock, unable to believe that something like that came from such a tiny ball. Cootie, undeterred by it, pulls out her own attack, which is a small magic cube. As the knight is about to attack, Cootie starts moving the cube and throws it towards the knight. As it hurls toward him, the cube opens up into a net and traps the knight in place. With that, Cootie passes the exam, making her excited. Noah claps for her, saying she's way gentler than the psycho Illo, who just shredded everything into pieces. The supervisor then calls out for Noah's turn, and he's pretty excited about it. Noah confidently steps into the arena while other students chatter about how confident he is, even as a new student. The headmaster is also there, watching to see what Noah is capable of. Approaching the box, Noah feels anxious about what he might get. As he fumbles through the balls, magic balls, the violet one floats and swooshes into his hands. Noah is shocked as the ball flies into his hand by itself. As he pulls his hand out, everyone in the arena is stunned that he got the violet ball on his first day. According to the chatter, it's one of the most difficult, even making seniors fight for their lives in front of it. Illo thinks this might be Noah's first and last day at the academy after getting that ball. Cootie covers her eyes in fear while the supervisor is excited, having not seen a level 7 battle simulation in a while. However, she flinches when she notices the headmaster standing beside her, quickly changing her words to say it might be too much for Noah since he's new. The headmaster is also excited to see what Noah has to offer. Meanwhile, Noah is completely confused by all the chatter around him. Noah, looking at the ball in his hands, throws it on the ground while relaxing and wondering why everyone was so nervous about it. As he does, a massive blast fills the arena with the sound of heavy creaking echoing through the air. Meanwhile, Noah is whistling confidently, thinking it's the same size as the yellow ball. However, his expression changes when the creaking doesn't stop, and the knight continues to grow in height. Before long, a towering knight stands in front of him. Noah is in disbelief that he has to face this massive tank of a knight. As this happens, other students start to worry about Noah facing a level 7 knight, fearing it might just wreck him. Noah feels a chill run down his spine. But as he glances at the other students, he realizes there are a lot of eyes on him today. He knows he has to do something. As he's thinking about it, the mighty fist of the Violet Knight swings toward Noah, who dodges it by inches. The knight follows up with another attack, and Noah tries to evade it by sprinting. Despite its power, the Violet Knight doesn't seem to catch Noah, who is pretty fast. However, Noah is shivering intensely, thinking that if the attack had hit, he would have been dead. The crowd, watching the dodging, starts chattering about how fast he is, while Illo is also confused about what's happening with Noah. As they chatter, the Violet Knight swings its massive arm at Noah. He waits for a moment and then leaps into the air to dodge it. The other students are surprised by his long jump. The Violet Knight isn't done yet. It swings its weapon toward Noah, but this time he doesn't manage to dash or dodge, leaving him stuck in its path. Noah, wondering what he's supposed to do in this situation, remembers the moment when his mom punished him for using magic in front of people. Noah, holding a chair above his head, argued with his mom, who worked as a cleaner at a pub. She reminded him that his father had been drafted because he could use magic, so he needed to be careful. Despite her warnings, Noah used his spell on the table, making it levitate. His mother noticed and scolded him for it. She then approached Noah and, to his shock, hugged him tightly, pleading with him not to use magic, at least not in front of others. Coming back to the present and remembering his mom's words, Noah uses his hands to channel a wind portal in front of him, shooting it toward the incoming weapon of the Violet Knight. The force is so strong that the weapon is deflected and strikes the protective force field surrounding the arena, shattering it. The supervisor, seeing this, is shocked that the weapon just broke through the force field. The students standing below the incoming shards of the force field freeze in shock as the sharp pieces hurl toward them. But to everyone's surprise, the shards don't drop. Instead, they start floating in the air. The students are confused, thinking it's a defense mechanism, but one of them is stunned when they realize it's the new transfer student controlling the shards. Noah is using his magic to gather the shards in the air, forming them into a large ball. As he does, he realizes he's used this spell before, but doing it in front of everyone makes him feel like he's betrayed his mother. With that thought, he throws the shards at the knight with all his might, and they pierce straight through it. Landing back on his feet, Noah knows it is pretty late to follow his mom's orders, so he loads up his wind power in his hands, empowering himself. He's surrounded by a glowing aura of wind as the mighty knight stands before him. Seeing it up close, Noah realizes it isn't enough. Meanwhile, the knight's eye flashes as it locks onto Noah, preparing for a powerful attack. Its target system also detects other students, locking them as targets for the attack, and it loads up a harpoon in its forearms. Noah is terrified seeing the massive harpoon. Students also notice the knight aiming at them, wondering if it malfunctioned. As they process this, the knight suddenly fires a barrage of harpoons toward them. They barely manage to get out of the way in time. Noah is shocked and confused, questioning what the knight is doing. Illo and Cootie, equally worried, scream at the supervisor to stop it before they all get killed. Noah, looking at the supervisor, yells that something seems seriously wrong and suggests shutting the knight down. The supervisor, frantically scanning the blueprint, is confused as well, reasoning that the knight's armor should be too thick to be pierced like that. Meanwhile, Noah pulls his hair in shock, struggling to make sense of what's happening at the academy. Suddenly, another harpoon hurtles toward him, forcing him to leap to the side just in time. Seeing Noah struggling in front of the knight, the headmaster wonders if he has overestimated him. Noah stands in the arena, sweating, realizing his only option now is to take the knight down. However, he has no idea how to do it until a thought strikes him. He calls out to the psycho girl and asks her to lend him some of her powerful fire. Illo, full of ego, yells back that it's his exam and he shouldn't be ordering her around. Noah, pointing at the knight wreaking havoc across the arena, shouts that it will take them all down if they don't act quickly. Hearing this, Illo becomes worried and reluctantly agrees to help. She summons a massive fireball in her hands and hurls it toward Noah, while he prepares his own spell. Using his wind magic, Noah creates a whirlwind above him and combines it with Illo's fire blast, amplifying its size before sending it toward the knight. As it strikes, the knight begins to burn from the inside out. Noah clenches his fist, channeling more wind power into the attack. When the flames finally subside, everyone is shocked to see the knight melting and barely holding itself together. It's the new student's accomplishment, and even Noah himself is stunned by what he's done. Realizing the reality of his victory, he cheers for himself in joy. Meanwhile, Supervisor screams in disbelief at the destruction of her prized golem. Noah turns to Illo, giving her a thumbs up and calling it a great team effort. Illo, acting nonchalant, dismisses him as childish, while Supervisor trembles with regret in the background. Furious, she screams for both Noah and Illo to come to her office. As they walk toward her office, the entire hallway erupts in cheers for Noah's victory over the violent knight. Illo, still jealous, scoffs, calling the celebration pathetic. Noah mocks her, asking if he's so pathetic. Why hadn't she knocked the knight out on her own? This remark infuriates Illo even more, as she helped him, and all he has to say is that. The exchange quickly escalates into an annoying argument, with the two yapping back and forth. Eventually, they arrive at Supervisor office, where she's waiting for them. Clearing her throat, she asks if they know why they've been summoned. Noah, puffing out his chest, proudly claims it's because Supervisor wants to praise him for his heroic deeds. Supervisor slams her hand on the table, denying his assumption. She declares she called them in because Noah asked for help during his exam, and Illo assisted him despite it being against the rules. Slamming the table again, she yells that they both cheated, and as a result, they'll be placed at the bottom of the class. This news shocks them both as they clearly defeated the knight. Noah argues passionately, claiming it's unfair since he saved everyone. Illo, fuming, asks about her assignment, to which Supervisor reveals her task is to teach Noah all the rudimentary magic he missed during the first semester. She adds that Noah will have to pass her test 1 week from that day. Illo tries to protest, questioning why she should take on such a responsibility, but Supervisor silences her by threatening her with the F. The threat immediately shuts Illo down in frustration. Clenching her fists tightly, she seethes with anger, thinking she should have dealt with Noah when she had the chance. Taking a deep sigh as she realizes she has no other choice, Illo agrees to help Noah. He also consents to take the exam, which brings relief to the supervisor. Illo asks how familiar Noah is with the academy, to which he reveals it's a place where one learns magic. She clarifies that the academy doesn't just focus on magic, it teaches elemental magic using water, fire, wind, light, and darkness, as well as summoning magic for those with exceptional talent like Illo. Additionally, the academy trains magic engineers and technicians, such as Cootie. Noah realizes the academy is far more complex than he initially thought. The supervisor reveals that the headmaster's decision to accept Noah in the middle of the semester is unprecedented, but they want to know where he came from and which family he belongs to. Noah reveals he's from Stioden and is a commoner. Hearing this, the supervisor grows suspicious, as it's unusual for a commoner to possess such a strong affinity for mana. Noah lightheartedly jokes about being drafted into the army because of his magical abilities. However, ignoring that, the supervisor asks if Noah can use summoning magic. Confidently, he claims that even without a summoning spell, his wind magic is sufficient. Rubbing her chin thoughtfully, the supervisor assures him he'll pick things up as he progresses. She then orders Illo to show him the dorms, which makes Illo even more furious, leading her to refuse outright. The supervisor, unimpressed, threatens her for being uncooperative, forcing Illo to comply despite her desire to kill the soy boy. As Illo reluctantly accompanies Noah around the campus, she remains furious, blaming him for disrupting her flawless student life and leaving a metaphorical scratch on it. Noah, however, turns the blame back on her by calling her a psycho and reminding her that he ended up in the headmaster's office because she came after him that night in the dorms. Being called a psycho infuriates Illo even more, and in a fit of rage, she conjures a fireball in her hand, asking if he has a death wish. But as she continues ranting, she suddenly pauses, realizing something. Seeing her pause, Noah asks if she isn't coming with him. Changing her expression quickly, she lies, claiming the headmaster called her earlier, so he should find his own way, if he isn't so dim-witted. Feeling confident, Noah replies that it's easy enough for him to manage on his own. Hearing that, a grin spreads across her face as she explains that on his first night, when he went to the headmaster's room, he should instead go to the first door to the right of it. Noah gives her a suspicious glare, doubting her claim, and asks why a dorm room would be located there. Illo shrugs, warning him that if he ends up in the girls' dorm again, they'll definitely label him a pervert. Despite her words, Noah looks at her with a hint of suspicion. Still, he decides to follow her directions. He walks to the specified room, slams the door open, and loudly greets his supposed roommate. However, he pauses, realizing it isn't a dorm room but a professor's office. The professor, who appears busy, looks up at Noah and reprimands him for being so rude. As night falls, Noah finally reaches the actual dorm building, realizing that Illo has tricked him and made him look like a fool. From one of the rooms, Illo notices him and bursts out laughing, proud of how she made him look ridiculous. Noah yells up at her, accusing her of deliberately giving him the wrong directions. Slipping back under her blanket, she smugly replies that it's what he deserves for being rude to her. Snuggling with the wolf-shaped teddy bear Noah brought for her, Illo drifts off to sleep. That night, she dreams of her past life, where her mother stands with her by a volcano, telling her a story about wizards who can control lava. The wolf teddy is there too. Illo is just a child at the time and thinks the story is incredibly cool. Her mother adds that in the story, there's also a princess who raised a mythical wolf by her side. Hearing that, young Illo clutches the teddy even tighter, imagining herself as the princess her mother is talking about. As she dreams of this, in the present, she unconsciously hugs her teddy even closer. However, as everyone sleeps soundly, a mouse scurries into the room. Spotting the intruder, the teddy's eyes begin to flash with portals. It rises up and stands protectively in front of the mouse. Startled, the mouse freezes for a moment before dashing out of the room in fear. Afterward, the teddy returns to the bed. Meanwhile, in his own room, Noah lies awake, unable to sleep as he thinks about how Illo tricked him earlier. His thoughts are soon disrupted by the loud snoring of his roommate, who sleeps like a log. Glancing at him, Noah tries to recall something he had been meaning to do. Suddenly it comes to him, and he springs up from his bed. He sits at the table, grabs a pen, and begins scribbling on a piece of paper. He's writing a letter to the server who gave him the delivery gig. Despite his 2-year-old grammar skills, he somehow manages to write that he completed the delivery and is now enrolled at the academy. The next day, Illo angrily informs Noah that she will only train him for 30 minutes a day during lunchtime. She's fuming, unable to comprehend why she has to waste her time on someone she considers trash like Noah. Meanwhile, Noah, watching her rant, feels disheartened, but warns her that he won't tolerate her attitude. He reminds her that the headmaster himself enrolled him in the academy, and that failing one subject won't be enough to get him kicked out. Hearing this, Illo grows nervous, realizing that if he refuses her tutoring, the supervisor might give her the dreaded F she's terrified of. The thought makes her anxious, especially since she carries the immense responsibility of being the heir to the Sigrin family. Seeing her worry, Noah smirks, realizing he has her completely cornered. However, thinking of himself as the bigger person, he decides to let Illo tutor him. Mockingly, he tells her she should say please. Illo agrees, barely managing to control her rage, and reluctantly pleads with Noah to let her tutor him. Noah calms her down and asks when the lessons will begin, to which Illo curtly warns him not to talk to her unless they're in a lesson. Saying that, she turns and leaves, leaving Noah to sense her edginess. In the classroom, other students gather around Noah, praising him for his impressive wind spells. Feeling proud, Noah boasts that he doesn't want to reveal his secrets, but could teach them, for a price. The room suddenly falls silent as Illo enters. Everyone's attention shifts to her, making Noah confused about the sudden change in atmosphere. It's then that he notices a mischievous student discreetly preparing a bubble spell in his hand. Observing this, Noah realizes that Illo is an outcast whom the students love to bully. He could have turned a blind eye, but something inside him won't let him ignore it. Soon, the student shoots the bubble spell toward the unaware Illo. However, just as it's about to hit her, it stops midair, blocked by a powerful wind spell. The mischievous student is shocked and confused, but quickly turns furious upon realizing it was Noah who intervened. Meanwhile, Noah, with his classic nonchalant whistling, ignores the angry student entirely. Illo, still unaware of what's happened behind her, glances back briefly before returning her focus. Moments later, the supervisor enters the room carrying multiple bomb balls. She announces to the class that it's Magic Engineering Day, and asks if anyone wants to work with the explosive devices. She pauses, scanning the room. The class remains silent, but Noah, itching to pull a reverse prank on the mischievous student, decides to act. Using his wind magic, he subtly forces the student to stand up from his seat. The student, shocked and confused, finds himself standing against his will, which is enough for the supervisor to choose him as the volunteer. Rubbing the back of his head nervously, the mischievous student hesitates and stammers, claiming he's a summoner and that engineering should be left to the Banians. The supervisor doesn't like his response and shoots him an angry glare, saying that if he has an issue, he should protest to his father, who, shockingly, is the headmaster. Hearing this revelation, the headmaster's son, Aaron, reluctantly steps forward. Meanwhile, Noah, upon learning Aaron's identity, gets greedy, thinking that as the headmaster's son, Aaron must be wealthy, and he should try to befriend him. As Aaron grips the bomb ball, it begins vibrating in his hands, making him even more nervous. Noticing his discomfort, Cootie hesitantly raises her hand and volunteers to assist, eager to try her hand at it. The supervisor approves and allows her to proceed. Cootie approaches the device and quickly dismantles it with precision. The supervisor instructs the entire class to observe her closely, emphasizing that they can't always rely on summoning magic. She then turns to Aaron and asks pointedly about, what will Aaron do if he can't use magic or run out of mana? This question makes him anxious while the teacher pushes her glasses up and reveals that the device could save his life. Meanwhile, Noah is snoring in the back row. Other students, noticing him dozing off, start chatting, speculating that he must be tired from using so much wind enchantment back at the arena. The supervisor also notices him and points a finger at Illo, gesturing that she has only 1 week left to train him. After the class, all the students head to the cafeteria for lunch. As Illo is about to sit down, she notices some water chestnuts placed on her seat by Aaron as a prank. Glancing at Aaron, she's about to react when Noah swoops in and sits in her seat instead. Noah quickly feels something under his bum and casually removes it, saying someone must have left it there. As he throws the chestnut, it lands directly on Aaron's plate, making him tremble in anger. Aaron struggles to control his rage, but it's enough so he confronts Noah, loudly asking what family Noah belongs to. Biting into his baguette, Noah replies that he doesn't have a family, which makes Aaron realize he's a commoner. Other students in the cafeteria overhear Aaron's words and are shocked. Everyone begins murmuring in surprise, stunned that a commoner like Noah is studying at the academy. Aaron, sensing an opportunity to attack, asks how a commoner like Noah managed to enroll in the academy, implying there's no way he could afford the tuition fees. He jokes that everyone should keep an eye on their wallets because Noah might need some help paying for his fees. Hearing this, Noah smirks and starts bragging to Aaron, claiming that his skills and talent far outweighed others' family connections and wealth. Illo, who is also listening, flinches as Aaron is wasting the entire lunch break, which she had planned to use for teaching Noah. Realizing this, she yells at Aaron to back off, surprising Noah. She warns Aaron to stop, threatening to report him to the headmaster for bullying a transfer student. Aaron, hearing this, shifts his focus to Illo, mocking her for helping a commoner. He sneers, suggesting she's doing it so that if she's stripped of her title, she'll at least have someone by her side. He derides both of them, calling them a useless duo of a commoner and a fallen noble. After lunch, Illo takes Noah to an empty classroom. Noah, referring to Illo as his teacher, starts insisting they jump straight into practical lessons instead of focusing on theory. Annoyed, Illo firmly reminds him that she isn't his teacher, to which he casually shrugs, pointing out her attitude. This is almost too much for Illo to handle, but she manages to keep her composure, reminding herself it's just 1 week. She then places a book in front of Noah and asks him what he knows about mana. Hearing this, Noah channels wind energy into his hand and asks what Illo is talking about. Illo looks at him, confused, as he was clearly using mana yet didn't even realize it. This idiot thought his magic and mana were two completely different things. Frustrated, Illo decides to teach him through an example. She grabs a piece of chalk and draws elements on the board, explaining that their world is composed of multiple elements. She adds that Noah uses wind magic because of the mana present in his body. However, as she continues her explanation, she notices Noah dozing off. This annoys Illo, so she conjures a small fireball and smacks him awake with it. As Noah jolts upright, she yells at him, explaining that mana is like an energy source that allows the body to use magic. Illo asks Noah what he does when he runs out of mana, to which he casually replies that he just runs away. Hearing this, Illo is deeply disappointed. She points out that he's been relying solely on the mana within his body, and in her opinion, that's the reason he's been damaging himself. Returning to the topic of mana, she explains that there are two types of energy, one that a person is born with and another that exists around them, like the air. Raising a finger, she elaborates that if someone only uses the mana within their body, they will eventually deplete it. To demonstrate, she casts a spell that disrupts the air around her. Watching this, Noah remarks that it looks like magic, but Illo angrily corrects him, saying it's mana. Then, conjuring a small fireball on her finger, she explains to him how to draw mana from the world around him, rather than depleting the energy within his body. She urges him to gather the mana onto his finger, just as she did. Our idiot boy still doesn't understand, which only makes Illo angrier, thinking he wasn't paying attention to her. Eventually, Noah agrees and tries using his finger, but is shocked to see something forming on it. He's never felt anything like that before and asks if it's another one of her tricks. Illo grins and advises him to gently fling the wind he's feeling. When Noah snaps, a massive tornado erupts across the room, shattering all the glass windows. The sheer power of it shocks Noah as he can't believe he did it himself. Meanwhile, Illo realizes that Noah is more talented than she thought and begins to understand why the headmaster allowed him to enter the academy mid-semester. In the headmaster's office as he works, Aaron sits in front of him. The headmaster inquires if Aaron has met the new student, which makes him nervous, thinking his father might know what happened back at the cafeteria. However, to his surprise, the headmaster praises him and advises him to continue what he's doing, believing it will help bring out the best in Noah. Aaron can't believe it and argues that Noah isn't a summoner and that his father has overestimated his worth. But to his shock, his father expresses confidence in Noah, stating that he will prove himself in the future, just like Aaron did when he was adopted years ago. Back in the classroom, Noah is still shocked that he just produced such strong energy on his own. Trying to act nonchalant, Illo reveals to Noah that the academy is filled with mana and that what he did was simply use it. Despite her dislike for Noah, Illo feels a sense of pride, as under her teaching, he was able to harness mana. She's relieved that their lesson isn't taking as long as she expected, and is glad she won't have to give him extra lessons. After Noah grasps the basics, Illo tells him to open the basic theories section of the book. Noah, realizing he still has to read books to fully understand mana, is a bit shocked. He then nervously asks Illo if it's their class time already, but she denies it, saying they still have plenty of time since the next class is in the stadium. Noah, anxious about reading the book, tries to make another excuse to go to the restroom. However, Illo sees right through him and threatens him to open the book. Feeling the pressure, Noah reluctantly picks up the book, but to Illo's shock, he opens it upside down. She's stunned as he doesn't even know how to open a book properly. Trying to defend himself, Noah lies, claiming he was just confused, which is why he opened it that way. Illo, now feeling a mix of fury and disbelief, asks him to turn to page 121 and read it. As the book opens in front of him, Noah struggles to even read a single word, causing Illo to tremble with frustration. This is too much for Illo, and she yells at the top of her lungs, asking how he expects to pass the exam if he can't even read. Frustrated, Illo leaves the classroom for the next class, but Noah, disappointed, follows her. She warns him to keep his distance, but since he wants to learn, he insists on staying close. Looking at him, Illo wonders if he'll even make it through the next class, especially since it's taught by a strict professor. As they approach the stadium, students are already assembled in front of Professor Cyrus. Upon seeing him, Noah realizes that he's the same professor whose room he accidentally barged into earlier. Cyrus also notices them that they're late and tells them to take their seats. As they line up, Sergeant introduces himself to Noah as the in charge of the practical arts, mentioning that Noah is a new transfer. He then reveals to everyone that there has been a major event in the stadium, its departure from the Great Alliance. According to him, this not only impacts the fate of their nation, but also the career paths of all students, and the classes related to this event. He explains that to contribute to the war, they must first learn to survive, so today's lesson will focus on hand-to-hand combat without resorting to magic. He wants to see how they handle themselves when they run out of mana on the battlefield. After explaining everything, he asks for volunteers. Everyone hesitates, but among them, Aaron raises his hand, eager to try. For his opponent, he chooses the new kid, Noah. Smirking at Noah, he mocks him, suggesting that Noah will probably refuse. Aaron knew Noah's only talent was wind enhancement, so hand-to-hand combat without magic would heavily favor him. Aaron walked toward the ground, recalling his father's words comparing Noah to him. Meanwhile, Noah stood there yawning, which only made Aaron more furious. In his rage, Aaron warned Noah that he wouldn't leave unscathed, but Noah seemed tired and low on energy. After too much talking, Cyrus stopped them and announced the start of the fight. As Aaron and Noah faced each other, Aaron quickly clenched his fists and, while yelling, leaped at Noah with full force. However, with just a quick tilt of his head, Noah dodged the attack. Aaron follows it up with another punch, but Noah dodges that as well by bending down. Aaron then launches a barrage of attacks, all of which were dodged by Noah. Shocked, Noah realizes that he was facing a weaker opponent than he expected, as Aaron is just a beta. Observing the fight, Cootie begins to explain what it means to be a Banyan in the kingdom. She reveals that she is a Banyan, which signifies someone with weak magical power, but a specialization in magic engineering. Most elves like the headmaster are born with magical talent, but their population is small compared to others. Among humans, there is only a 20% chance of being born with magical powers, and even fewer can wield notable magic like Noah, Illo, and a handful of other students. As for those who can't use magic, Cootie confidently believes she could easily overpower them with her large robot, Rukumatan. While murmuring these thoughts to herself, a nearby student overhears Cootie and looks visibly uncomfortable. Realizing this, Cootie quickly tries to clarify, insisting she didn't mean any harm. According to Cootie, most wizards in the kingdom are weaklings, for example, Aaron. They assume they're Chads, simply because they can use magic. Returning to the fight, Aaron is furious at missing all his hits. In frustration, he yells, announcing his final blow. However, as he swings, Noah easily dodges by jumping, causing Aaron to crash face first onto the ground. Cootie observes Aaron and finds him pathetic. She notes that as a wizard, one can only acquire a limited number of skills during their time at the academy, and if too much focus is placed on magic, they can't develop physical strength. Aaron struggles to his feet, gasping for air and clearly frustrated. Meanwhile, Noah mocks him, asking if that's all he's got before casually revealing that he hasn't even started yet. Aaron, trembling with rage, clenches his fists and curses under his breath in frustration. Noah notices Aaron's persistence, but knows he should finish the fight quickly as it's starting to drag on. He dashes toward Aaron with impressive speed, leaving Aaron shocked by how fast he is. As Noah reaches him, he swiftly moves behind him, leaving him utterly confused about where Noah went. Meanwhile, Noah lightly taps Aaron's knees, causing him to wobble and collapse to the ground. Striking an anime antagonist pose, Noah points at Aaron's defeated state and smugly declares that this is the gap between them. Illo, watching from the sidelines, feels uneasy about Noah dragging the fight out, worrying that Aaron might still have a trick up his sleeve. Aaron didn't take the embarrassment well. Furious, he yells at his friend to toss him his summoning book. Though hesitant at first, the friend gives in to Aaron's demands and throws the book toward him. Catching it with ease, Aaron's face twists into a sinister grin. With an almost maniacal expression, he opens the book and calls out to Kyle, declaring it was time to wipe Noah out. As the summoning completes, a powerful masked monster materializes out of thin air. Noah's confidence wavered as he took in the creature's ferocious appearance. Wasting no time, the monster unleashes a massive water blast cannon aimed straight at Noah. Acting on instinct, Noah dodges just in time, narrowly avoiding the powerful attack. The blast misses Noah but slams into the wall behind him, instantly melting it into a puddle of sludge. Noah charges up the swirling energy in his hand and reminds Aaron that he's cheating since they aren't supposed to use magic. This enrages Aaron even more, and he yells at the top of his lungs, declaring that on the battlefield, survival is all that matters. As Aaron continues ranting, his summoned monster launches another water blast at Noah. This time, Noah counters with his own spell, stopping the attack mere inches from hitting him. Struggling to hold it back, Noah notices Aaron's grin growing even more sinister. Meanwhile, Professor Cyrus stands silently, observing the clash with a sense of pride, as the headmaster's son, Aaron, is clearly pushing the limits of the new transfer student. As the two spells collide, the water blast begins to evaporate, enveloping the entire stadium in a thick cloud of smoke. Noah admits he initially wanted to befriend Aaron since he's the headmaster's son, but now he has no choice but to fight him. With determination in his eyes, Noah unleashes a powerful swirling wind attack at Aaron's summon. The summon retaliates with its water cannon, and as the two forces collide, a massive explosion erupts in the arena. All the students, including Illo, are hit by the shockwave and wait anxiously for the outcome. As the smoke clears, Aaron and his summon stand unharmed, while Noah appears battered, leaning against a wall he seems to have crashed into with great force. In the evening, as the class ends, all the students head back to their dorm rooms while chatting excitedly about the magic duel that just took place. Meanwhile, Illo stands in front of the downed Noah. Cootie also rushes toward him in concern. However, as Cootie is about to reach him, Illo shoots her an enraged stare, which is enough to make her turn and run back. Noah, exhausted, looks at Illo's serious expression and asks about her anger. Illo, visibly upset, responds that she's angry because Noah dragged the fight on longer than necessary, causing all the chaos. She's also angry with him for allowing Eren to get his hands on the book, something Noah should have prevented to defeat him fairly. Another mistake, according to Illo, is that Noah goes head-to-head against a summon, which even great wizards find difficult to handle. Hearing her rant, Noah realizes her anger stems from that. Seeing him remain nonchalant only frustrates Illo further, making her yell at him for losing a battle he should have won. She's furious that he hasn't collected mana like she taught him before. Despite being yelled at, Noah reveals that he doesn't care. According to him, it isn't like he's being paid to win or anything there. Enraged, Illo asks if he has no pride since money isn't everything. However, in Noah's eyes, if he holds on to pride, he wouldn't have survived this long. Hearing his response, Illo shouts even louder, exclaiming that if he only cares about money, he should become a merchant or something like that. Saying that, Illo storms off, revealing that she won't be taking any more classes with Noah, as it's just a waste of time. Noah, acting indifferent, knows that the students there don't understand what's really going on. As night falls, Illo arrives in her dorm room, still angry about what happened in the stadium. She's furious with herself for expecting anything from Noah. In her rage, she sits on her bed, only to be shocked when she notices her wolf teddy is missing. She starts searching for it, checking under her pillow and in the drawer, but it's nowhere to be found. Confused, she wonders where it went, but then suddenly realizes Noah must have taken it. She suspects him, thinking he had been in her room before, which made it easy for him to steal it. However, she's puzzled about his reasons for doing so. As she recalls her behavior with Noah in the past few days, she realizes he might have had a reason for taking the doll. Sitting back on her bed, she screams in worry on the inside about the missing wolf teddy. Meanwhile, Eren and his companions head toward their dorms, with his fellows praising him for his victory over Noah. However, despite the win, Eren doesn't seem particularly excited. He tells his companions to leave him, as he wants to go ahead alone. As he walks down the hallway, he feels pain in his arm from the fight with Noah, the impact still hurting. As he continues, he finds Professor Cyrus waiting for him. Seeing him like this, Eren is a bit confused and asks about it. Professor Cyrus reveals that Eren's father is waiting for him in the office. As Eren walks into the office, he notices his father with a smile on his face, greeting him warmly. His father reveals that he has something important to discuss, and asks if Eren minds. With a nervous laugh, Eren replies that he doesn't mind and is free to talk, so they can discuss whatever it is. Hearing this, his father asks him about his roommate and his school routine. Meanwhile, Eren grows more nervous, noticing a change in his father's demeanor, which is unlike him. However, his father quickly shifts the topic and gets to the point, asking Eren about being rude to his professors. Hearing this, Eren becomes even more nervous and a bit scared. He kneels on the ground, apologizing as his father steps closer with a smile. His father reveals that he will be gone for important business and tells Eren that if he completes his work while he's away, he'll reward him handsomely. His tone then shifts to serious as he warns that if Eren fails, he will have no choice but to punish him. The next day in class, the supervisor is overjoyed by the efforts of Noah and Illo, praising him for sacrificing his free time to practice rudimentary magic. She looks forward to seeing how they perform in the upcoming test. Noah thanks her for recognizing his efforts, shedding tears of pride, while Illo stands beside him, still suspicious of him. Since losing her teddy wolf, Illo has searched everywhere and interrogated everyone, but she hasn't been able to find it. She still suspects Noah of being the culprit, but knows he isn't foolish enough to sneak into the girls' dorm again. As she ponders this, Noah channels his mana, creating an energy ball and sending it into the air, illuminating the entire room. Watching him, Illo is lost in thought, determined to find her teddy at any cost. Unwillingly, she realizes she'll have to ask Noah for help. She doesn't like the idea, but knows that if she pays him well, she might be able to convince him to assist her. Meanwhile, the supervisor, observing Noah create the energy ball using mana, is impressed by his progress and acknowledges his hard work. Noah dances with excitement, bragging about being a genius. Happy with his efforts, the supervisor grants him a day off for his dedication before leaving to attend to some urgent matters. As she departs, Illo hesitantly calls out to Noah and asks if he still works as a fixer. She reveals that the teddy he brought her has gone missing and asks if he could help her find it, promising to pay him well. Noah is surprised by the request, but casually shrugs it off and refuses. Illo is enraged by his unexpected refusal, especially after offering to pay him. Noah, flipping his attitude, smugly brags about having his own pride to consider, and remarks that, now that he's passed the test, they won't have to see each other again. Noah's response leaves Illo utterly shocked, but to make matters worse, he casually says his goodbye and walks away, leaving a furious Illo stewing over what to do next. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of Stiodan, the throne room buzzes with activity as various royals and dignitaries gather. The room hums with chatter as the nobles await the arrival of His Majesty. Soon the grand doors creak open, but instead of the king, a heavily armored knight walks in. The knight calls out for Lord Chamberlain and engages in a private conversation. The nobles present watch with curiosity and growing concern, unable to discern what is being discussed. As the knight finishes speaking, Lord Chamberlain's expression shifts to one of deep worry, fueling the unease in the room. Wiping the sweat from his brow, Lord Chamberlain addresses the attendees, apologizing for keeping them waiting. He then informs them that the meeting is cancelled. Lowering his gaze, he solemnly declares, under the king's authority, the independence of Stiodan from the Great Alliance. The room erupts in disbelief, gasps echoing as the gravity of the announcement sinks in. Meanwhile, the headmaster watches the scene unfold with a mysterious grin on his face. One royal, unable to contain his outrage, shouts, demanding to know why His Majesty is not present. Glancing at the knight, Lord Chamberlain replies that the king is in poor health and unable to attend. The royal, still unconvinced, turns to Marte, urging him to say something. Clenching his fists and closing his eyes briefly, Marte declares that they have been deceived. As tension thickens in the air, the headmaster quietly tries to leave the room. However, just as he is about to exit, Marte stops him. Suspicious of the headmaster, Marte accuses him of being aware of this plot all along. The headmaster, with a nonchalant demeanor, dismisses any accusations of his involvement. In response, he offers a cryptic prayer for Marte's family, which, instead of bringing relief, only heightens Marte's concern. As the headmaster departs, accompanied by Professor Cyrus, he remarks that now that Stiodan has secured the assets of the fallen nation, it would be foolish to remain in the Great Alliance. The headmaster, turning slightly toward him, asks what he believes will happen if they sever ties. Cyrus reveals that military tensions will undoubtedly escalate, leading to the cessation of funding from the alliance, which is an outcome they could exploit for profit. The headmaster, a sly smile spreading across his face, responds that they will not only profit, but also plunge the region into war. With a glint of ambition in his eyes, he adds that they are about to make history in these war times. Saying that, the headmaster chuckles, and his laughter soon erupts into a loud, maniacal roar. It seems everything has fallen perfectly into place for him, and he clearly has a plan in motion. Meanwhile, in the boys' dormitory at the academy, Noah receives a letter. Curious, he picks it up and examines it. However, upon opening it, he finds the page completely blank, which surprises him. Suspicious, he channels mana energy through his hand, revealing a hidden message within the letter. What he reads leaves him in disbelief. It instructs him to spy on Illo. The next day in class, Noah is really tired after spending the entire night wondering about the letter he received. He has no idea who could have made such a request, offering 10,000 gold in advance and 30,000 upon completion. With that much gold, Noah could easily pay off his debt and start fresh. But he finds the situation a bit sketchy. Besides, Noah has already been rude to Illo, so he can't even talk to her, and to spy, he needs to find a way to get close to her. As he slumps on the table, lost in thought, Cootie notices him and is weirded out by his behavior. After completing the lecture, the supervisor informs all the students about an upcoming positions tournament, which requires a powerful team composition. She instructs everyone to hand in their applications by the end of the day, after forming teams. The whole class starts chattering, trying to find their teammates, while Cootie is excited to form a team with Noah. He agrees to team up with her, but then notices Illo, who is sitting alone with no one around her. He starts considering making her a teammate. Other students have also heard the news of the fall of the Seaground family and are gossiping about it, joking that she might have to quit school because of it. Noah, overhearing this, gets a bit worried for her, realizing she is suffering because of her noble background. The students keep poking fun at her, pointing out that she is pretending to ignore them even after hearing their mocking. However, Noah calls them out. He tells them that they are all friends and shouldn't bully or mock Illo like that. He, trying to scare them, tells them that if they keep doing that, they will get bad karma. Hearing all this, Illo gets up and steps out of the class while the students continue speculating and chattering behind her. Noah runs ahead of her and clarifies that he was just trying to help, but with an angry expression, she stops and looks at him, reminding him that it's her own problem. Hearing that, Noah freezes while Illo continues, calling him a stalker, saying he promised not to see her again, yet here he is following her. Noah flinches, hiding his intent, and denies following her. However, Illo is on to him, and with a deadly stare, she demands that he be honest with her. This makes Noah even more worried. thinking she might know about the letter he received. However, to his shock, she yells at him, accusing Noah of stealing her teddy wolf. Taking a sigh of relief that she doesn't know about the letter, Noah denies taking her teddy. However, this starts a quarrel between them, with both of them shouting at each other, until Cootie arrives and informs them that they are teammates now. Both, sweating and gasping for air, are confused about what she's talking about, to which Cootie shows them the application form where her, Noah's, and Illo's names are written as one team. Cootie filled out the form herself, as Noah and Illo had no one else to team up with, and they could all work together. As Cootie keeps talking about how they are a good team, both of them, eager to stop her, claim that they understand. This excites Cootie, so she simplifies her chatter, explaining that they are a perfect team because they have a summoner, an elementalist, and a magic engineer. Hearing about it, Noah also realizes that he might get the chance to get close to Illo to spy on her. He is still on the fence about accepting that request, but he is sure it will work. Wondering about it, Noah excitedly agrees while Illo is shocked, looking at him. Illo too doesn't have any issues with the team, but then she screams, choking Noah, as she doesn't want to team with him before getting her teddy back. Noah, with struggling words, tries to tell her his innocence, but she doesn't believe him. Meanwhile, somewhere on the streets, the teddy wolf is on its own. It is standing below the girls' dorm building when suddenly someone from behind grabs it by its head and lifts it up. Picking it up, the guy wonders about the owner of the teddy. Meanwhile, in the academy building, Noah and his team are having a meeting, where Cootie is leading them. They are a team, but according to Cootie, they still need a tank, and for that, they need to recruit someone for the role. Cootie, with the suggestion, also has an idea for it. She refers to a person who is a Galagon, speculating that he might not have found his team yet. Hearing about the person being a Galagon, both Noah and Illo are shocked. Cootie, with a determined expression, reveals that her plan is to recruit all the outcasts who don't have teams, so they can form a perfect fit together. This outcast thing frustrates Illo even more, but all she can do is hold in her frustration and listen. Cootie continues, saying that the person is Noah's roommate and will be a perfect tank for their team. Noah realizes she is talking about his roommate but is worried that he might make Cootie uneasy. Cootie denies it, saying it's been 4 years since the Galagon War ended. Even the headmaster who fought in the Galagon War and was killed early by one of them accepted Mumu, who was a Galagon, into his academy. The war left scars, but according to Cootie, talent is talent, and nobody can ignore that. However, Noah is hesitant, as his dad also died fighting in that Galagon War. Cootie, trying to make him understand, tells him that the Galagons weren't to blame, as it was their king who started the war. Illo also is in favor of taking Mumu into their team, as it's just a group assignment. Despite both of them agreeing, Noah still feels a bit uncomfortable teaming up with a Galagon. Meanwhile, all of this is happening. Illo still hasn't gotten her teddy back. How did that happen? Well, as she was sleeping with it, the teddy suddenly awakens, noticing movements in the room. It was an enchanted teddy, designed to protect her. That day, the teddy was at its best, keeping an eye on a mosquito buzzing around the room. To protect Illo from it, the teddy leaps towards the mosquito, but accidentally falls out of the 3-story dorm room window and lands on the street. Meanwhile, Illo sleeps peacefully. Despite falling out, the teddy decides to climb back up. However, its attempts fail time after time. As it lies on the ground, disheartened, a person appears, picks it up, and what happens next remains unknown. Back at the meeting, Noah is still grumbling at the thought of including Mumu in their team, as he is a Galagon. Cootie is also in favor of including Mumu in their team, as he is incredibly strong in hand-to-hand combat, despite being weak in magic. According to Illo, he is perfect for them since they lack physical power among the 3 of them. Cootie, hearing her insight, is quite impressed by Illo. While discussing, they reach Mumu's hideout, and walking in, it's filled with branches and flowers. It's like a whole garden. Seeing that, Noah is shocked, not even remembering what word to use to describe the vibes of that place. Illo fills that blank by saying it's beautiful, something Noah struggles to say. Hearing her, Noah denies it, revealing that he was thinking of something much better than that. Meanwhile, Illo, noticing the roses around, realizes that it's quite an extravagant hobby, and the upkeep must be a hassle for Mumu. Hearing her, Noah wonders if all of this is quite expensive, but Cootie reveals that it's about the effort it takes. Illo, walking around remembering that she also had a garden like this at home, but then becomes a bit sad, thinking about it being abandoned since no one is there to take care of it after her mom died. As they're looking around, Noah and Illo are left with their jaws wide open as they notice her teddy in the garden. Illo, rushing toward it, can't believe how it got there. However, then someone steps out of the shadows. This figure wears a farmer's hat and is towering over them, questioning who they are and what they want. Illo, enraged, screams at him, convinced that he's the one who stole the teddy. However, the guy seems oblivious. Cootie yells that they shouldn't scream at the guy since they're here to recruit him, But Illo, with her manic grin, is now thinking about teaching him a lesson. Even the guy, who is Mumu, the one they wanted to recruit, is pretty worried about Illo's behavior, as she screams at the top of her lungs to get her doll back. She then threatens him to cooperate or she'll have no choice but to burn the whole place down. Hearing that, Mumu tries to stop her, but as she's furious, she whips out her book and calls her summon Garrosh. While she's doing that, Mumu, with his muscular build, grabs her whole body, making the summoning book drop from her hands onto the ground. She's even more furious now as he lays his hands on her, but is shocked by how quickly he grabbed her. Mumu, realizing he went too far, steps back, telling her that she can't just burn his stuff. Meanwhile, all of this is happening while Noah stands in the background, watching it all. Illo notices him and yells at him to help her get her teddy back, promising that she will apologize to him for blaming him. Realizing she will apologize, Noah agrees. But he knows it won't change anything since Galagons, once they set their eyes on something, never let go. They're pretty greedy. Thinking about that, Noah changes his mind and turns back, saying that she'll have to give up her doll, and that it was a pretty bad idea to try to recruit a Galagon. This comment doesn't sit well with Mumu, who slams his hand on the table, asking what Noah means by that. Noah feels a bit worried as Mumu asks him why they are treating him like that. This enrages Mumu even more, and he leaps toward Noah, throwing a heavy punch. However, Noah, with his classic sidestep, dodges it, revealing that Mumu is as terrifying as everyone says as he could kill someone with that punch. Mumu, trying to clear himself, reveals that he was just trying to make them leave, to which Noah reminds him about the Galagon War and their role in it, blaming him for starting the war. This freezes Mumu, while Illo, a bit confused, wonders why Noah brings up the war like that. Mumu, clenching his fists, argues with Noah to let it go, saying it was already 4 years ago. However, while the war may be over for Mumu, it is not over in Noah's mind. He never forgave Galagons. Saying that, Noah leaps toward Mumu with his loaded fist. However, Mumu absorbs the blow with his block. Everyone there is shocked, as even though Noah used all his strength in that magic attack, Mumu still doesn't seem affected at all. Despite getting blocked, Noah channels his wind spell in his hand, revealing to Mumu that he heard they could rip someone apart with their bare hands. This comment enrages Mumu even more as he clenches his fist, veins popping, and swings at Noah while screaming that what Noah said was just a rumor. Noah dodges, but realizes that if it hits, he'd be sent flying. Mumu follows that up by grabbing Noah's hand and with full force, throws him toward the ceiling. The force is so much that Noah knows he's gone too far. He crashes into the ceiling and then falls back to the ground. Despite the heavy blow, he gets up and charges toward Mumu, saying he won't hold back anymore. With that, he channels his wind energy into his hand, gathers it, and throws it at Mumu. The blast blinds Mumu, giving Noah the window to leap into the air and attack. Illo, watching Noah go all in, finds it pretty childish. However, she notices that the teddy is left on the bench, as Mumu is distracted fighting. Just as she's about to pick it up, Noah crashes into the nearby wall. Our boy looks at Illo in his beaten state, and she feels a bit bad, realizing it's her fault they're fighting. Noticing Mumu charging toward Noah, Illo realizes she should help him. Despite finding Noah annoying, she steps in, yelling at both of them to stop. She turns toward Noah and asks him why he's so aggressive toward Mumu. Cootie is also sobbing because they came there just to recruit. Hearing Cootie go on about recruiting Mumu for the tournament, Noah agrees to stop. Mumu also hears her talking about the tournament and asks about it. Cootie, apologizing, reveals their purpose for the visit. Thinking he won't accept, Cootie offers to help him clear the mess they made, but to their surprise, Mumu agrees. Everyone is shocked as he reveals that he wants to represent his village, which is why he enrolled in the academy in the first place. His race was blamed for the war, so they were outcasts until one day the headmaster took him in. However, his village paid a great price for it. This is the reason Mumu agreed so that he can live up to his village's expectations. A bit embarrassed, Mumu reveals that he has no friends in the academy, as everyone is afraid of him. This is the first time anyone has asked him to join a team. Hearing this, both Illo and Cootie feel proud of themselves, while Noah stands back, not happy about it. Noticing him, Cootie asks him to cheer up, to which he asks about the teddy he was wrongly accused of stealing. Mumu picks it up and returns the teddy, revealing that he found it by the dorms. Illo accepts it, saying it's fine since she got it back. Cootie, scribbling on the application form, is really excited that everyone is fine with the team she made. Now they are all a team. Mumu is also pretty excited, while Illo is just fine, and Noah, despite not being happy, agrees. Writing all the names, Cootie runs back to the supervisor's office to hand in the application form. Meanwhile, Noah, standing there, reveals to Illo that his father died in the Galagon War. She is shocked, to which Noah, with a sad expression, adds that this is why his mom told him to hide his abilities. This was all on his mind, and he let it out to Illo, who remains silent as she hears it. Suddenly, Noah realizes he has said a bit too much about himself, so he leaves, with Illo following him. The teddy is also on high alert, as there are quite a few bugs around. Meanwhile, a blue-haired guy is channeling a spell, looking into it. He claims that something has found its master again. He is spying on someone using the spell. In a floating kingdom, the blue-haired man, Ruben, is writing something on paper when his assistant calls him. She creaks open the door, inquiring about the report he is working on. Ruben looks up at her with a smile, revealing that he has been putting in a lot of effort. The assistant, leaving the room, tells Ruben that she wants the report as soon as possible. Despite his smile, Ruben finds the deadline rather tight. He is working on a report about the elf headmaster, and he finds the task quite complicated. Meanwhile, in the Steoden Empire, the headmaster stands in a cemetery, picking up a bouquet of roses from his wife's grave, with Cyrus beside him. Cyrus offers him to take the flowers to his office, but he replies that he will do it himself. 62 years ago, the headmaster enters Steoden's history when he joined the Glazer family by marrying Delina Glazer. After 50 years of marriage, she died, and he became the head of the Glazer family. He then participated in the Galagon War with great success, and later created an academy in his wife's name. While burning the bouquet he brought back from her grave with a burst of black magic, he throws it into the dustbin where it burns with dark flames. The headmaster also adopted the orphan children of the war, training them to join the Steoden army. All of this is also written in the report Ruben is working on, and he is searching for something suspicious within it. However, despite his feeling, he senses that something is missing. He then notices a symbol at the bottom of the report and realizes it's the mark of the lowlife who killed his allies to steal a relic. Back at the academy, the headmaster is descending the stairs of a tower and reaches a heavy metal gate. As he opens the gate, the headmaster stands in front of a chained man who pleads with him to let him go. The man is in a worn-out and terrible state, yet there is a relic embedded in his chest. The headmaster looks at him and asks why he wants to go home, pointing out that he has no family to return to and is an official deserter, so no one is searching for him. With an authoritative tone, the headmaster orders him to summon a monster. The man begins crying even harder, prompting the headmaster to grab his head forcefully, threatening that he can only leave if he complies. Under the threat, the man begins to push his mana with great effort, which causes the relic to spark with energy, flashing the entire room with a burst of power. This is also hurting the man terribly as he pushes with all his strength until the relic explodes out of his chest. It kills him, causing the headmaster to snap, revealing that it was another failure. The snap disintegrates the man into the air, while the relic levitates toward the headmaster. This was an experiment to summon a monster using a Shellcrino human implant, but it has failed, so the headmaster is considering using another test subject. Standing over the splattered remains of the man, the headmaster turns and reveals, "It's Aaron next." Meanwhile, in the streets, Noah and Illo are at the market. Illo tries to speak to Noah in a strange encryption, but Noah, annoyed, asks her to speak plainly. This enrages Illo, as she warns him that if anyone learns they have a summoner on their team, they'll be targeted. Noah reveals that she's already told him that, but since they're on a break, they can talk normally. Frustrated, Illo blames Noah, saying that he is the reason they haven't been able to practice for the tournament, which is now looming over them. She reminds him that he and Mumu have always been awkward around each other, making it hard to practice. Noah coughs nervously, claiming they did their best. As they're talking, Cootie, sitting on Mumu's shoulder, arrives. Mumu and Noah quickly notice each other, and things get awkward once again. This frustrates Illo, but Cootie remains calm, thinking everything will be fine. According to her, even though they haven't had much time to prepare, they're skilled enough to figure it out. Despite her frustration, Illo controls herself. Meanwhile, Cootie adds that they're doing this for fun. As they continue their conversation, someone walks up to them. It's Aaron. Aaron overhears Cootie saying they're having fun, which frustrates him, especially since Noah humiliated him earlier. He's now determined about teaching them a lesson for what they've done. Outside the castle, as night falls, the headmaster addresses the students, announcing the start of the tournament. Before it begins, he informs them about the political situation, which has resulted in some chaos. However, he wants the tournament to be for everyone, encouraging all to do their best and push their limits. His words capture the attention of the crowd, especially Noah and his team. After the headmaster's supervisor explains the rules, she reveals that the first event will be a treasure hunt, where they will search for treasure balls. The team that finds the ball containing the ancient relic will win. She also explains that there are no time limits for the event, and adds that stealing treasure from others will be considered cheating. Hearing the rules, Cootie and Mumu get hyped up, while Noah is excited, thinking he could get his hands on the priceless relic and sell it. Illo also has something on her mind as the supervisor. With fireworks, starts the event. Quickly hopping onto Mumu's shoulder, Cootie starts scanning the area and suddenly spots a ball nearby. However, she's a bit too loud, and her words catch the attention of other students. As everyone looks around for the ball, Cootie mentions it, prompting Mumu to charge through the crowd, barreling toward the ball. Meanwhile, Noah and the others just stand there, watching him go. Rushing forward, Mumu grabs the ball, but the momentum sends Cootie flying into a nearby bush. She gets up excitedly and asks what's in the ball, to which they discover it's a magic key that can open any door, but only once. Cootie is thrilled as it gives them a head start. They move on to search for more, leading them to the theory lecture hall. As it's dark, they use flashlights while Noah is busy scaring the heck out of Cootie. Noah is curious if they'll find anything in there, to which Illo replies that, since the event spans across the whole academy, they might find something. As they're in the hall, Aaron and his group walk in on them, calling them outcasts. Stubbornly, Cootie stands up for herself, saying she's not the outcast, while the rest of them are. Illo also walks up to Aaron, asking him to step aside as they need to move. However, Aaron starts mocking her, saying she's confident because of her loser friends. He continues mocking their group, calling them a mix of a useless commoner and a freaky Banyan. But then he notices the towering Mumu and stutters, calling him a Galagon. Aaron quickly turns, saying he has no time to waste and needs to find treasure. His useless yapping confuses Noah and his group. Illo, clearly annoyed, suggests they leave, speculating that Aaron's group might have already found something. However, as they're about to leave, Noah spots a red ball placed nearby on a table. They're confused as to how Aaron's group missed it. It's because Aaron, remembering his father's words about fulfilling his role, placed a hand-drawn map on a piece of paper inside the ball and left it there. He's determined to find all the treasure and rub it in their faces. Following the map, it leads to a mountainous area nearby the academy. But Noah's group is confused as they haven't found anything yet. Illo, annoyed, grows suspicious of the map, thinking it's a bit shady, especially since it marks an off-limits area. Mumu adds that if it was in the ball, it must be legit. Suddenly, Cootie tells everyone to be quiet, as she hears something. As everyone falls silent, the whole area becomes eerily quiet, with not a single sound. This annoys Illo even more, asking what Cootie meant by hearing something and why she was ordering them around. Cootie swears that she heard something when suddenly, Noah's expression shifts to one of terror as he notices something behind Illo. In another part of the jungle, there is a warning board labeling the area as prohibited, with a cautionary message about military trials for trespassers. Nearby, there is a fort with a person inside, and in that prison, there are piles of bodies, including that of the person the headmaster had been experimenting on. The person has become like a zombie, growling around. Coming back to the group, Noah points out that he noticed something behind Illo, but when she looks, it's just a small rock that Noah levitated with his magic. She doesn't find it funny, while Noah giggles, convincing her that it was to lighten the mood. Suddenly, Noah is shocked to the core when he hears a growl coming from nearby bushes. Hearing it, Cootie starts losing her mind, and Mumu is also terrified of what it might be. Noah, a bit scared himself, speculates that it might be a treasure ball, but Illo confidently dismisses their fears, saying they're all just spouting nonsense. She remains nonchalant, stating that the worst it could be is a wild animal. However, as she opens the bushes, to her surprise, it's the zombie. Noticing the zombie, Cootie and Mumu lose it, yelling at Illo to run. Illo, not having enough time to process, just flinches. The zombie jumps at her, but just as it's about to grab Illo, a wind blast hits it in the guts. It's Noah who yells at Illo to go after Cootie and Mumu, who have already left and are running away to save their own ass. As the zombie regains its balance, Noah and Illo start running, screaming at their teammates to stop. The zombie also isn't stopping and continues to follow them, so Cootie screams at Illo to just burn that thing. Mumu, who is ahead, warns them not to do that, as they'll burn down the whole forest if they do. Illo, deciding to summon Garrosh, stops, but as she's about to use the summon book, she realizes it's not there. Realizing it's gone, Illo is shocked to the core and screams throughout the forest. In the headmaster's office, he and Cyrus wonder what the batch of students might bring in terms of results. Cyrus is more intrigued by what the final treasure is and why the headmaster chose it. Glancing out of his bedroom window, the headmaster reveals that he only hopes for the students' abilities to improve through the tournament. Back on the mountain, Noah and his crew, running, reach a dead-end cliff. With nowhere to go, Noah decides to handle the situation, ordering the team to split up. Noah knows that, this way, the monster will have to choose one of them. He loads up a heavy wind ball in his hands. According to Noah, at least a few of them can get to safety. However, despite his determination, Illo finds him annoying. Knowing there is no other way, Noah sends a tornado attack towards the zombie, and it starts swirling around, blinding it. The zombie mumbles something, which shocks Noah. In that moment of shock, Noah accidentally steps over the cliff and free falls towards the ground below. Seeing him fall, Illo wonders if he's dead, and hearing that, Mumu starts crying out loud despite being the big guy. Cootie is also panicking, but she has a gadget up her sleeve. She whips out an emergency exit mask, which is just a normal sleeping mask to make him sleep and escape reality. Illo yells at her to stop while loading up fire spells in both of her hands. She decides to take the risk of setting the forest on fire since they have no choice. As she's chanting, she's shocked to see both Mumu and Cootie are already far gone. Now she's on her own. As she prepares to fight, she hears Noah calling her from down the cliff. He's screaming for her to jump, confident that he will catch her if she does. Seeing the zombie coming toward her, she jumps, trusting Noah. However, our classic Noah doesn't catch her, and she falls to the ground. She's a bit hurt, but relieved that the zombie has stopped chasing them. Noah is curious about what that thing was, to which Illo replies that there's no use thinking about it. She's also furious with Cootie and Mumu for fleeing and leaving them behind. As the chase settles, they both decide to search for Illo's book, while the zombie walks back to where it came from. It collapses, shedding tears from its eyes, and falls to the ground with the other pile of bodies. After searching for a while, they find the book and head back to the academy, where they are shocked to see Mumu and Cootie already there. However, Noah is confused about what they are doing, gathering a crowd around them. As soon as they notice Noah alive, they become emotional, unable to believe it. Meanwhile, Illo is furious that they had left them to die in the face of danger. Cootie, trying to clear herself, starts rambling about what she has done and how it is all a big misunderstanding. Noah, stopping her from talking, questions the people they have gathered. Cootie reveals that the map is fake, which has also been received by other students, so she has gathered them to get clues and find the culprit. Hearing that, Illo becomes even more furious, feeling that Cootie has been treasure hunting while they were fighting off zombies. However, Cootie reveals that they have also collected a lot of treasure balls. Mumu, with excitement, shows them what they have found in the balls, but an enraged Illo slams them to the ground, furious about it. Pleading, both of them reveal that they have found a riddle to obtain the final treasure, which Mumu has memorized while searching for smaller ones. Illo, now curious about the riddle, listens as Cootie reveals that it says something about something that kills everything, destroys kings, and even turns young men. As she is revealing the riddle, Illo completes it, which shocks both of them. She reveals to them that it is a famous classic riddle, and it is time, as time turns everything into nothing. Telling them this, Illo suddenly realizes something and looks back at the clock tower. She tells the others, but her words are overheard by nearby students, who start running toward it, getting ahead. Seeing them, Illo realizes they can't catch up with the students on foot, so she orders Mumu to throw Noah so that he can fly the rest of the way with his wind magic. Noah finds it ridiculous, saying she must be possessed to come up with something like that. But before he can say anything else, Mumu picks him up into the air and with full power swings Noah like a ragdoll. It is a special attack called Mumu's Throw. Wow, such an innovative name. As he is thrown, Noah flies through the air like a rocket, screaming at the top of his lungs. Cootie, from the ground, tries to spot him in the sky and is surprised to see that he has turned into a dot in the sky. Curious, Cootie asks about the inspiration behind Mumu's attack's name, to which he embarrassingly reveals that it is something he has seen in comics. Meanwhile, Noah is shocked to be flying through the air, but soon realizes that instead of going up, he is now heading down. Realizing how far Mumu has thrown him, he is stunned, but now he needs to figure out how to land in the clock tower. For that, he uses his wind power to push himself into the air and toward the tower. As he nears the clock, he notices a ball at the junction of its arms. He lunges at it and grabs it, while the whole group from the ground cheers for him as he hangs from the clock. Noah holds the ball in his hands, excited to open it, but as soon as he touches it, it starts cracking. Suddenly, it explodes with a flash, illuminating the entire academy and revealing a summoning scroll. With that, the fireworks start, signaling the end of the first event as Team Noah emerges victorious. The next morning, Illo shocks the whole crew by appearing with a broken arm. She believes it is due to her jumping off the cliff, so she can't participate in the next tournament. She wants to go home to get treated so she can participate in the next game. Cootie is worried, as the next challenge is tug of war, and the three of them can't play. However, Illo makes her even more worried by revealing that Noah is coming with her. Noah is confused about what she is saying, to which she smirks and reveals that her family wants to meet him, as he is responsible for her condition. That day, they set off for Illo's hometown. Noah is a bit annoyed about ending up accompanying her, especially since, in his opinion, her injury has nothing to do with him. According to him, he had offered to catch her, but she didn't take his offer. While Noah is mulling over this, Illo sits quietly in the carriage, staring out the window and reflecting on what had happened a few hours earlier. That morning, Illo called home to inform them about her broken arm. Her butler, upon hearing the news, was shocked and immediately asked who had hurt her and if she needed him to send a knight. He was so loud that even the supervisor overheard him. Illo, trying to calm him down, revealed that she had injured herself and only needed him to arrange for a healer to be ready when she arrived. The butler agreed but expressed concern about how Illo will travel alone. He offered to send an escort, but since it would take too long, Illo declined. He then suggested she bring a friend along. Hearing this, Illo was taken aback as she didn't have a single friend at the academy. The butler, noticing her reaction, was a bit surprised but quickly became worried. He asked if she doesn't have any friends at all. Embarrassed, Illo lied, claiming she had plenty of friends who were eager to accompany her, making it hard to choose just one. However, deep down, she knew the truth that she was an outcast. The butler, relieved by her response, assured her that he will make arrangements for her and her friend. Back in the present, as she thinks about the conversation, Illo feels a bit upset with herself for lying to the butler. Seeing Illo's stern expression, Noah wonders if he might be in trouble for insulting her, given that she is a noble. Illo notices his nervousness, and when she questions him, he lies, saying he's completely fine. Trying to change the subject, he asks if her family has guards, and whether they detain people back at her estate. Realizing the source of his unease, Illo reassures him that she was just joking earlier, and that her family simply wants to meet him. However, she sternly warns him to behave with dignity in front of her family. Still nervous, Noah promises her that she can trust him to act properly. After some time, the carriage arrives at the royal estate. As they pull up, dozens of maids and butlers are lined up, waiting to welcome Illo. Witnessing this grand reception, Noah is shocked, finally realizing the extent of her noble status. The head butler rushes toward the carriage, visibly worried about Illo. She calmly reassures him, revealing that she's fine despite her earlier injuries. Hearing this, the head butler is relieved and asks if Noah is the friend Illo had mentioned bringing with her. Nervously, Illo admits that he is, and quickly requests the butler to escort them inside, hoping to prevent Noah from catching on to her lie. As the butler leads them in, Illo grows curious about the reduced number of staff present. The butler explains that they had dismissed all staff members under the age of 30. Upon hearing this, Illo realizes why a staff member she liked is no longer there. The butler then becomes emotional, tearing up as he laments that Illo should be enjoying her youth instead of worrying about them. Illo, finding his dramatics annoying, brushes it off. As they ascend the staircase, she shifts the conversation, asking about the healer so she can be treated quickly. The butler confirms that the healer had arrived before them and offers to show Noah to his room. As they are talking, Illo notices a regal figure standing at the top of the stairs. Her heart sinks as she recognizes him. It is her father. Nervously, she addresses him as such, while the butler, realizing his mistake, apologizes for forgetting to inform her of her father's earlier-than-expected visit. Her father's stern gaze fixes on her injured arm, and with a deep, commanding voice, he asks about it. Illo hesitates but confirms her injury. Without saying another word, her father brushes past them, descending the stairs with an air of disappointment. His reaction stings Illo deeply, and unable to bear it, she dashes to her room in silence. The butler calls after her, visibly concerned, but she doesn't stop. Meanwhile, Noah stands in the hallway, thoroughly confused by the tense encounter. In the library, the healer is treating Illo, revealing that while her bone is fine, it will take some time for her mana to circulate properly again. This news worries her even more, as she needs to participate in the tournament. Noah barges in without knocking, which immediately annoys Illo. The healer, noticing him, decides to take his leave, assuming that her friend is there to care for her. Before leaving, the healer advises her to take it easy and rest, promising to check on her the following day. After the healer leaves, Noah, full of curiosity, asks how long it will take for her to recover her magic skills. His questioning irritates Illo, and in frustration, she attempts to use magic. However, her spells don't work as they had before, further adding to her frustration. Noah reveals that he understands her frustration, as he has been injured many times before, and assures her that she can overcome this with sheer willpower. Illo, in her usual angry tone, retorts that she doesn't believe in willpower. However, Noah remains confident, expressing his faith that she will regain her abilities in no time. Surprised by his unwavering confidence in her, Illo's heart softens a bit, and she hesitantly asks if he truly believes that. This catches Noah off guard, as he suddenly feels a strange sensation within himself. For the first time, he realizes he might be developing feelings for Illo, something he never thought possible. Trying to hide his stumble, he turns and starts yapping about the floor being too slippery. Illo finds his behavior strange, watching him with a puzzled expression. Noah's heart is still pounding, unable to shake the feeling that it might be some kind of magic attack by Illo. Illo, acknowledging his encouragement, reveals that she can't wait for her magic to recover as she needs it for the tournament. Noah, hearing this, finds her impatience a bit concerning, thinking she is being too hard on herself. He encourages her, suggesting she take the opportunity to rest and take it easy. Illo, however, looks worried and admits that she can't rest because she feels responsible for everyone in the estate. She wants to ensure she can care for them all. Noah, trying to cheer her up, suggests that she show him around the estate so that she can at least keep herself busy in a less stressful way. Despite finding him annoying, she agrees. She shows him around the kitchen, the sword practice grounds, and other areas of the estate. Illo, noticing that Noah already seems familiar with the place, questions why he asked her to show him around. Noah, seeking a moment of honesty, reveals that he just wanted to get some fresh air and explains that it feels different when she is the one introducing him to the officials. Hearing this, Illo pauses and confesses to him that if he's met everyone, he must know that she was only joking that morning when she told him about the fake reason to meet her family. Noah admits that he's figured that out by now, but adds that it all makes sense to him. He believes she's trying to prove to her family that she's doing well. To his surprise, Illo thanks him for understanding. Saying that, she starts rushing ahead in embarrassment while Noah asks her about it. After walking for a while, Noah continues playfully poking at her for the unexpected thanks, but grows curious about where they are headed. Reaching a large door, she grabs the handle and tells Noah to behave as they are about to enter. With a slight hesitation, she opens the door and, with a hint of regret in her voice, welcomes him to her home. They step into a vast, barren area, and Noah is immediately shocked. His mind races with wild thoughts, wondering if she brought him to such a desolate place to end his life for pushing her too far. Terrified, he imagines Illo becoming so enraged that she might use her summoning book to call forth her monstrous wolf to finish him off. These thoughts terrify Noah so much that he curls up on the ground. Illo notices him and asks what he's doing, snapping him back to reality and making him realize it's all just in his imagination. She finds his behavior particularly strange today, but she encourages him not to waste the opportunity to look around, revealing that this has been her favorite spot since she was a child. Noah, standing back up, questions her unusual fondness for the place as a kid, joking that she must have been a unique child. Illo, looking a bit sad, reveals that the area isn't always like that. It used to be a proper garden back then. Saying that, she remembers a time when she was little and rushed to her father, who was busy building a summoning circle in the garden. He was sweating, and revealed to her that he was working hard to create it for her, lovingly calling her his little princess. Her father truly adored her. Hugging him tightly, she told him that her brother Reuben has said the circle is a gate to another world. Her father laughed at this, remarking that her brother was quite smart. Then, with a warm smile, he encouraged her, calling her smart too, and instilling confidence in her that she will one day become a great summoner. That happiness didn't last long when her mother fell gravely ill and passed away, followed by her brother Reuben having a fight with their father and leaving the palace. Illo was left there alone. Returning to the present, Illo explains that the garden is planted in a volcanic region, which is a futile endeavor, but a wasteland is much more suitable for it. As she continues explaining, she notices how quiet it has become. When she looks, she sees Noah trying something with his magic on the portal. It annoys her that he isn't paying attention to her while she's talking. However, Noah reveals that he's curious about the magic circle she mentioned. He explains that he's going to show her something, and saying that, he uses his wind power, transferring it into the portal. A powerful gust bursts forth, blowing dust off the entire circle. Coughing, Illo calls it a lame ability, though she notes that the circle is now cleaner than ever before. As she observes the freshly cleaned circle, Illo mentions that this is where she and Garrosh first meet. Saying that, she suddenly remembers the summoning scroll Noah earned from his previous victory. A smirk crosses her face as she suggests he try using the scroll on the circle. Later that night, Noah is feeling embarrassed about something that happened earlier in the day. He had thought things were going well and that he was looking pretty cool. But then something happened that made him feel really stupid. What actually occurred was when Illo suggested that Noah use the summoning scroll. He is caught off guard and doesn't know how to use it. Illo finds him frustrating, especially since he is standing on a summon hinge, and according to her, if he could use it, it would be a huge advantage for them. Hesitant, Noah agrees and asks if they should inform the others before using it. Illo, not caring about what others think and considering herself the leader, tells him to go ahead, as the others might not be able to do it. Noah agrees with her, though everything feels sudden and unexpected. Illo, however, still doesn't seem to care and urges him to take out the scroll. Noah is carrying the summoning scroll, but as he reaches into his pocket, he takes longer than expected to find it. To Illo's shock, when he pulls it out, the scroll is crumpled and in poor condition. Illo yells at him for crumpling it like that, frustrated with the state of the scroll. Noah defends himself, explaining that it was too big to fit anywhere else, which only angers Illo further. Annoyed, she urges Noah to summon properly and asks if he remembers the summoning magic from class. As she says this, Noah is already beginning the process of using the summoning magic. The scroll starts to glow brightly while Illo encourages him to keep going. Noah, determined, focuses harder, hoping he can complete the summoning. As he channels the magic, he feels a surge of energy course through him while the scroll begins to levitate between his hands. For a brief moment, it seems like the magic is working, but just as Noah starts to feel a sense of accomplishment, the scroll suddenly slaps him in the face. It confuses him, but Illo finds it pretty funny that he failed like that. Noah, seeing her laughing, feels embarrassed and reminds her that she might not have succeeded on her first attempt either. Illo, wiping tears from laughing so hard, admits that Noah is right. She had to try over and over again. She failed countless times but never gave up, and eventually, she succeeded. Despite it happening ages ago, Illo says she never looked as stupid as Noah does in that moment. She then throws some motivational words his way, urging him to try harder. As night falls, Noah lies in his bed, embarrassed about failing. He regrets trying it in the first place, but then pauses for a moment, realizing that at least Illo seemed cheered up after his attempt. The next day, the healer comes for a follow-up, but is surprised to see Illo isn't healing as he had expected. According to him, at this rate, she might need a week to fully heal. Hearing this, Illo is in disbelief as she has a tournament to attend, and it will end in a week. The healer reveals that he has tried everything. Worrying about her health, Illo soon realizes that if Noah can just complete his summoning, they might have a chance at succeeding. She realizes she can come up with a new strategy for their team with that. Meanwhile, her father stands in his office, staring at Noah from his window. Seeing Noah fail so stupidly, he wonders why Illo has given him a chance. According to him, Illo has no time to waste on something like that useless trash. As he is lost in thought, Illo knocks on the door and enters. She informs him that she is leaving, but her father doesn't even respond. Feeling sad, she turns and leaves the room, thinking she is doing the best she can. She just wants to make her family happy, which is why she is trying so hard. She even swears to make it happen at any cost. They prepare to leave in the carriage, but since it is a long journey, Noah decides to take a nap. As he dozes off, Illo gazes out the window, lost in her thoughts. It is a long, long way back. Eventually, upon reaching the academy, they are greeted by an excited Cootie. She reveals to them that they have won the tug-of-war match by using fire magic on the rope, but Mumu won't let it go. She adds that the rope is made of special material, so it doesn't burn up. Hearing that, Illo isn't as excited, as the tug-of-war match doesn't award them many points, and now they will have to try hard in the upcoming volleyball match. Cootie, still basking in her victory, orders Mumu to pick her up so she can see the next opponent team. However, as he lifts her up, she is shocked to see the opponent team on board. It is those guys from round 1 who overheard the conversation about the time thing and went ahead to get the ball. Their team name is Rubies, with teammates Lulu, Vivi, Victor, and the fatty Fabian. Noah doesn't find anything special about them and asks what the deal is with them. Meanwhile, in the classroom, the Rubies team is waiting for Fabian, who is late. As he enters, the girls are furious with him for being late, while Victor seems like a pretty chill guy, offering him a seat with them. As Fabian sits down, Victor, putting ahead a creepy figure he has made, starts the discussion. Victor, a water elementalist and the leader of the group, reveals to everyone that they have had a pretty easy run until round 3, but now they are facing some pretty strong opponents. He makes figures for each of them, explaining their powers. Vivi reveals that the summoner from Noah's group is injured during the treasure hunt, so she might be missing. Vivi herself is a dark elementalist. Since she can't contribute much, Lulu, the light elementalist, also rules her out as a non-threat. Vivi knows that Noah is pretty strong with wind magic, so according to her, they can easily take him down together. Victor also tosses his figure aside as he has already been taken care of, but now there remains Mumu. They know they will need a summoned monster to deal with him without risking their lives. Everyone agrees with this, while Lulu tells Fabian that, as he is a summoner, he should deal with Mumu. They call him the Half-Summoner, which is his nickname around the academy. His mother, a noble elf, brought him to the academy and handed him over to the headmaster, asking him to take good care of him. She knew he had summoning talent and wanted the headmaster to give him time to prove himself. The headmaster gladly agreed, but because of his mother's coddling, he was a late bloomer. However, that didn't mean that he wasn't a threat. He was actually quite strong. As Lulu asks him to take care of Mumu, he slams his fist on his figure. His face grins with evil confidence as he reveals that he will take care of Galagon. Now the tournament starts, and the volleyball pitch is ready for play. Noah arrives feeling a mix of nervousness and confidence. As they walk down to the pitch, Aaron looks at them with arrogance. Cootie is also a bit worried, concerned about the opponent team, each having special individual abilities. She asks Noah if he remembers what she told him, to which he confidently replies that it's just about getting the ball to the other side. Mumu also remembers the rules, while Illo reminds them about the point system, which is the usual volleyball format. Noah, juggling the ball with his wind spell, recalls that they can also use magic on the ball, and if they don't touch it, it doesn't count as a touch. Cootie lets out a breath of relief, knowing that they understand the rules, and warns them that the match could easily turn into an all-out magic brawl. Cootie then remembers Illo's arm and asks about it, but Illo isn't sure if she can use magic or not. Noah, hearing that, is confident that they can win without her summoning magic. Noah's team settles on one side of the net while the rubies take their place on the opposite side. Victor greets them calmly, to which Noah mockingly warns him not to hate them after they lose. As both teams settle, the referee announces the start of the match. The ball is with Victor's side first, and he throws it up, serving it with a massive hit. As the ball comes toward them with full force, Noah braces himself, realizing they are going all out. Seeing Noah channeling wind magic, the Ruby's girls know what they need to do. So Vivi channels her dark spell and targets Noah with it. He barely dodges it, shocked that they would go that far, but as he processes this, the ball hits his face, dropping him to the ground. He is stunned, completely blinded by the impact. The match is intense as Noah lies on the ground, wondering what the hell just happened. Cootie, worried about him, asks what's wrong, to which he explains that he went blind. Illo, hearing this, realizes it's because of the Ruby's girls using their magic. Cootie quickly catches on too, and Vivi, amazed that they figured it out so quickly, is confident that there's nothing they can do about it. It's now time for the next serve, and Victor tosses the ball into the air, sending it toward them with full force. This time, Mumu dives to hit it back, but he too is targeted by the dark blinding magic. However, instead of missing, he successfully stops the ball and sends it back, because of Noah using his wind magic to counter the girls' dark magic attack. Seeing that both were in shock, Cootie runs to send the ball back and passes it toward Noah. With his eyes glowing green, he confidently jumps into the air. Just as he's about to hit the ball, he's struck by a blinding flash of light again. The flash is so intense that it blinds him, causing him to miss the ball and fall to the ground. The girls, who have successfully struck again, mock him, taunting that they aren't done yet and still have more tricks up their sleeves. Things are getting serious for our Noah as the magic continues to make them miss most of their hits, with the score quickly stacking in favor of the Rubies, serve after serve. After a while, the referee blows the whistle, announcing the end of the first set. Illo, furious about the opponents using magic, yells at them to play fair. Victor, with his charming smile, thinks they aren't doing anything wrong, as Noah's team combined power is greater than theirs. However, he's confident they can defeat them with hard work. This comment only enrages Noah's team more, and to fuel the fire, Victor adds that they should try harder and summon monsters, since it's getting boring. Pushing Illo to the edge, she tries to summon her power but fails due to her broken arm as she can't use her magic. Victor, a bit worried, smirks at Fabian as Illo fails. Illo, unable to summon her magic, warns them that she's figured them all out and won't fall for their tricks anymore. Her rage is worrying everyone, even her own teammates. She's determined to make them lose now. The referee announces the start of the next set, and as he does, an evil grin spreads across Illo's face. Holding the ball, she yells at the top of her lungs for Noah to use his magic attack and restrict the Rubies girls with it. Noah, however, hesitates, but she yells at him to just distract them with his magic. Illo, out of nowhere, shows her rage, fueled by their close friendship. Noah, channeling her spell, warns Illo that he might not last more than 5 minutes using mana like that. Throwing the ball into the air, she reveals that 5 minutes will be enough. He strikes the ball hard toward the opponents, and Fabian dashes to hit it back into the air. He passes it to Victor, who confidently jumps to hit it back, but his confidence falters as he notices towering Mumu blocking his path. As he hits the ball, Mumu casually stops it by extending his hands in the air. Victor is caught off guard by this, so he yells at his teammates, who were supposed to bind him. However, when he looks, he sees they're both struggling against the wind magic attack on them. This worries him, while Noah is just using 2 fingers to stop them. But he feels like he's cheating. The girls are struggling in front of him, while Illo is enjoying it immensely, mocking them to give up, saying their tricks won't work anymore. However, Fabian still has his summoning trick up his sleeve. With a serious tone, he slides out his book and begins using summoning magic. Mumu, seeing this, is left with his mouth wide open in shock. Fabian successfully summons a massive wild-maned boar monster. He yells at the top of his lungs that he's bringing the real fight now. The boar starts charging toward them, and as Noah watches it approach, he is shocked, realizing they have a summoner. The manned boar charges at them with full speed as Noah channels his wind energy into his hands and shoots it toward the boar with all his might. As the beam shoots forward, Noah yells at Cootie, demanding to know why she hasn't mentioned they have a summoner. Cootie quickly clarifies that this particular individual is a special case and has never summoned anything before. Just as the wind beam is about to strike the boar, it leaps off the ground, hurtling toward Noah. Our boy barely dodges it by sidestepping, and the boar crashes into the back wall. Noah is left shaking, asking if something like that is even allowed in the match. Meanwhile, Illo's mind races with thoughts. realizing they are about to lose unless they stop the monster. Noah notices Illo's distress and, with a calm yet confident expression, claims that he will handle the situation himself. After all, he is the great fixer. Mumu steps forward, claiming that he will take down the monster. His declaration shocks everyone, as he is usually too scared to fight. Concerned for Illo, Mumu explains that humans have weaker bodies, but he can at least help by fighting the monster. Noah agrees, deciding he will handle Fabian while Mumu takes on the boar. Illo and Cootie, determined to score, choose to focus on the ball while the boys handle the rest. However, as they make their decision, Victor smirks and asks if they are ready to begin. Illo, her usual fiery rage evident, confirms it. With that, Victor tosses the ball again, sending it zooming toward Illo. She stops it and passes it to Cootie, who then quickly sends it back. In the background, Fabian is busy controlling the summoned boar. Distracted by his focus, he hears Noah calling his name. When Fabian looks up, he is shocked to see Noah poised and ready to strike. As Noah calls out his spell, he reveals to Fabian that in order to defeat a summon, they first need to take down the summoner. While Noah speaks, Mumu is holding back the boar as if it were a mere 2-year-old. Noah's arrogance only fuels Fabian's rage, and with a furious yell, Fabian declares that he will reveal hidden powers he has never shown to anyone. As he screams, the boar's eyes begin to spark, and it breaks free from Mumu's grip. It charges straight toward Noah as he is in the middle of channeling his spell. Noah quickly turns and barely dodges the boar's attack, but as he does, he realizes something unsettling. The boar isn't actually attacking him. The boar charges straight toward Fabian, launching him high into the air. Everyone is stunned to see a summoner's own creature attack them in such a way. Meanwhile, Fabian is airborne, blood splattering around him as he is thrown back to the ground with brutal force. Cootie realizes she has been right all along. Fabian is a half-summoner. With Fabian down, the monster is left without a master, growling menacingly. As a result, the match is forfeited by the referees due to the chaos. It may have been a lame way to win, but Noah's team manages to claim the victory. However, watching from the sidelines, Aaron isn't impressed by what has transpired. Aaron even tells his father everything, revealing that the match has been painful to watch, and that there are no summoners at the academy who can match his level. The headmaster smiles, casually revealing to Aaron that Noah might summon a monster at any time. Aaron grows furious, realizing that his father has purposely made Noah find the treasure so he can get his hands on the scroll. The headmaster, sipping his tea, confirms it, leaving Aaron feeling a mix of anger and betrayal. He can't help but feel emotional, as the headmaster's treatment of Noah seems far more favorable than his own. Seeing his son's distress, the headmaster reassures Aaron that he has saved something special just for him, so he shouldn't be upset. With a calm smile, he adds that he has prepared something extra, just for Aaron, ensuring his father's unwavering confidence in his plans. The next morning, the sun is shining brightly over the academy. Aaron, still feeling a bit tired, gets out of bed and glances out the window. His eyes then fall on his clothes, neatly laid out on the table. After quickly changing into them, he walks out and greets his teammates. His teammate, excited to see him, leads him to the breakfast room, but Aaron can't shake the worry gnawing at him about what happened the night before. He keeps wondering what his father meant by something special. Last night, when the headmaster mentioned it, Aaron asks about it, and the headmaster reveals the relic. It is the same relic he has been using for experiments, though Aaron hasn't known that. The headmaster asks Aaron to try channeling his mana into it. Despite his nervousness, Aaron agrees, though he can't help but feel a sense of unease. As he begins to channel his mana into the relic, he feels something strange. It is as if his blood is being drawn into the ball, his entire body being pulled toward it. Aaron feels his entire body being pulled, his flesh seemingly sucked into the air, making him feel as if the experience is unreal. Trembling on the ground, he looks up at his father and asks what is happening. The headmaster, smirking, asks if he likes it and suggests that Aaron use it to prove his abilities. Meanwhile, Aaron, still in shock and breathing heavily, can't shake the image of what has just occurred. The next day, Aaron's team is set to face Noah's team in the tournament. As his teammates trash talk, Aaron remains distracted, still lost in thought over the strange event. Noah, not missing a beat, fires back with a taunt, calling one of them Andrew Tate's left ear, which strikes a nerve. As the trash talking continues, the referee blows the whistle, signaling the start of the match. Illo serves the ball with a resounding bang, but as it speeds toward one of the bald-headed players on the opposing team, he stands motionless, unable to react. Suddenly, the bald-headed player shuffles with his 3 teammates, all of whom look almost identical. They all start hitting the ball randomly, making it difficult to tell who is touching it or if someone has double-touched. Cootie finds it both gross and confusing. The bald trio sends the ball back toward Mumu with a powerful blow, making him a bit nervous. However, the Chad Mumu simply puts his hands in front of it and blocks the shot effortlessly. The bald trio is stunned that he stops their combined effort. Noah is amazed at how reliable Mumu is, but Illo quickly reminds him to keep his focus on Eren and stop him if he dares to summon. Noah, confident that he won't let the opponent summon this time, prepares to use his wind spell. Meanwhile, Eren stands there, staring down at his chest, still lost in thought. He can't shake the events of the previous night from his mind. As Eren charges the relic, it reveals its power to him. His father explains that it is Shellcrino, a relic he has been studying for a long time. The headmaster suggests that Eren use it instead of his summoning book next time, as it will draw out a powerful monster like never before. Eren, feeling nervous, refrains from asking why his father isn't using such a relic himself. Staring at the relic, Eren realizes he has no choice but to follow his father's orders. Meanwhile, Noah asks Mumu to throw him, while Eren summons his creature Kyle. As the towering figure of Kyle appears before him, Noah is left in shock. At the same moment, Illo shouts at Eren asking why he didn't stop summoning. "My guy has one job to do." Noah points out that Eren has just summoned his monster without using his book. Illo doesn't believe it, thinking he isn't paying attention. Trying to explain himself, Noah asks if anyone has seen Eren use his book. Suddenly he notices something is off about Eren, just as Illo is scolding him for slacking off. As Illo continues trash-talking Noah, she glances behind and is shocked to see Eren. He is emitting a strange red glow, his veins bulging all over his body, and his eyes rolled back. Something is seriously wrong with him. Eren, known throughout the academy as the headmaster's son, was actually someone else's child. When he was just a kid, Eren was sold to the headmaster by a priest who took a hefty price for him. However, that didn't mean Eren lost anything. In fact, he considered himself lucky because nobody dared to mess with him, assuming he was the headmaster's son. This status made him arrogant and rude to anyone he wishes, yet it also fueled his ambition. This ambition led him to use the relic, seeking power that can't be achieved naturally. Back at the match, Noah's team is shocked to see Eren in such a state. Meanwhile, Eren's summon, Kyle, throws water grenades toward them. Noah quickly reacts, using his wind spell to create a shield, protecting his team from the incoming projectiles. As the grenades explode all over the pitch, dust fills the air, but Noah and his team are protected by his shield. Kyle follows up his attack with a cannon blast, sending a powerful beam straight toward them. Noah's team barely dodges it, while Kuti yells that the beam could easily melt them. Wherever the beam strikes, it melts everything in its path. Mumu, worried about everyone's safety, offers to handle the monster, just as he has done before, knowing that running is useless. Noah tries to stop him, aware that this time the monster is far different from the pig Mumu has faced earlier. Meanwhile, Eren is in a strange state, emitting an overwhelming energy all around him. Illo, equally concerned about the situation, asks the referee to do something about it. The referee, clearly nervous, turns back and looks at the headmaster in the stands. The headmaster is just blankly staring at him, and when he sees that the referee doesn't intervene and allows the match to continue, the tension in the air becomes almost unbearable. Noah and his team are so caught up in the chaos that they can't even tell where the ball is at that moment. As they are processing everything, Kyle fires another cannon blast, which Noah narrowly avoids by sidestepping. Feeling the weight of the situation, Noah decides it is time to get serious. He throws a wind slash toward Kyle, hitting him directly. To everyone's shock, the attack doesn't leave more than a scratch. Noah can't believe that the monster is this strong, while Illo, watching from the sidelines, grows even more worried about him. She knows Noah has lost to Kyle before, but now the monster seems even stronger. It is clear, there is no chance of winning this fight. In her mind, Illo knows she is the only one who can do something about the situation, if her summoning magic works. She squeezes her broken arm, applying pressure, and to her shock, it actually works. Meanwhile, Noah is dodging cannon blast after blast from Kyle. Suddenly, Illo screams at him to get aside, revealing that she has managed to summon Grouch. Noah, noticing her success, is filled with excitement, glad that she has managed to do it. Illo, now confident, commands everyone to leave it to her and her monster. She orders Grouch to strike. The beast lunges at Eren's monster, but he intercepts with a powerful right hook, sending Grouch flying. It crashes into the wall, and the entire crowd is left stunned. For the first time, Aran has defeated Illo, something that has never happened before. Illo is in disbelief, unable to comprehend how her Grouch has been defeated so easily. Kyle, now even more ferocious, loads his cannon once again and aims it directly at Illo. Frozen in shock, Illo can only watch as Kyle unleashes the powerful beam. Noah, noticing the imminent danger, leaps in front of Illo to protect her. The beam strikes, erupting in a massive explosion. As the dust settles, a strange, dark monster stands in front of Illo and Noah, its ominous presence sending a chill through the arena. The dark energy monster has just saved them from certain death, and both Illo and Noah stand in shock, unable to comprehend what has just happened. The monster then turns toward Kyle, and with a single swing of its fist, it defeats him effortlessly. It is the headmaster's summon, and having seen enough, he intervenes to stop the fight. Meanwhile, Aaron, still in his strange state, is kneeling on the ground, struggling to stay conscious. He wobbles, unable to maintain his balance, and eventually collapses, falling face first onto the floor. The headmaster, his presence commanding the attention of everyone, turns to announce that the tournament is now on hold until further notice, with an additional announcement to come. Noah's team stands in stunned silence, worried and confused by what just happened. As it is the headmaster's decision, they have no choice but to accept it. Back in the Academy boys' dorm, Noah and Mumu walk into their room, both visibly exhausted. It has been a rough day, made even stranger by Aaron's rampage. Mumu, equally puzzled, wonders aloud why it happened. But Noah is just as clueless, having never witnessed anything like it before. Noah knows they are lucky, not because they haven't been hurt, but because they have a chance of winning by default. According to him, if they keep winning like this, they could end up in first place. As he speaks, he absent-mindedly spins a book on his finger, but suddenly a page slips out and falls onto his lap. Noah's eyes widen in shock as he realizes it is the same letter that offered him 40,000 gold in exchange for spying on Illo. Noah is confused about how the letter ends up in the book, but then he has a sudden realization that it is the letter he has forgotten to reply to. It is worth 40,000 gold, and he hopes with all his heart that it isn't too late to respond. He quickly picks up a pen and begins looking around for paper. Spotting Mumu still awake, he tells him to go to sleep, not wanting anyone to know about the letter. Noah sits down and begins writing his reply, but he isn't sure where to begin. So much has happened since he first received the letter. He wonders if he should start with Illo breaking her arm, as that event has set everything into motion. But as his thoughts wander, he becomes increasingly worried about the moment he jumped in front of Illo to save her. All these overwhelming thoughts cloud his mind, and Noah realizes he needs a break. He decides to step outside for some fresh air, hoping it will clear his head. As Noah strolls around, he is surprised to see Illo there. His shock is evident as he asks why she is out at this hour. She replies that she just needs some fresh air. With her usual angry expression, she then tries to ask him about the moment he jumped in front of her during the fight. But as she processes the situation, her expression softens, turning into one of unexpected gratitude. She thanks him for saving her life. Noah is taken aback by the sudden shift in her demeanor. Stumbling over his words, he awkwardly replies that it isn't a big deal. He now feels a bit nervous, realizing that there is a growing tension between them, a mix of feelings neither has fully acknowledged yet. As night falls, Noah returns to his room, still processing the encounter. He tries once again to write the reply letter, but his mind keeps drifting back to the events of the day and the unexpected connection he has just shared with Illo. However, Noah crumples the letter in frustration. He now considers Illo a friend, and it doesn't feel right to go through with the request. As he wrestles with his thoughts, Mumu is snug in his nightsuit, cozy in his bed, oblivious to Noah's inner battle. After a moment of contemplation, Noah makes up his mind. He decides to write the letter again, but this time he rejects the request. He mentions that he will return the 10,000 gold advance and, curious about the situation, asks for the client's name before sending it off. Meanwhile, in the floating kingdom, Ruben stands in his office, surrounded by piles of books. His assistant, exhausted, is falling asleep on the floor. Realizing something important, Ruben informs her that he will have to leave for a while. Startled, she asks where he is going. With a letter in hand, Ruben extends it toward her, revealing his destination. He is heading to Steodian's Renée Academy. The next day at the academy, everyone is chattering about what happened at the volleyball match the night before. As the class settles, the supervisor arrives and orders everyone to sit down. She then announces that, due to the incident at the tournament event, the tournament is cancelled for the year. Hearing this, the whole class is in disbelief, thinking it isn't fair. The supervisor explains that prizes will be awarded based on everyone's scores up until the last day. Hearing that, Cootie starts calculating their points in her mind like a human calculator. Meanwhile, Aaron's friends, the Baldies, are worried and ask about Aaron's condition. The supervisor reveals that he is recovering from his injuries, which makes the trio even more concerned about their leader. However, the supervisor admits that she doesn't know much more about his condition either. In her thoughts, she remembers meeting with the headmaster when she inquired about Aaron. According to him, Aaron's injuries were severe, and he might need some time to recover. The supervisor also expressed her concern about Aaron getting his hands on such a dangerous relic, to which the headmaster revealed that Aaron was unconscious. Therefore, they will have to wait to interrogate him. The worried supervisor agreed, but the headmaster, with a fierce gaze, took full responsibility for what happened. This makes the supervisor even more nervous, pulling her out of her thoughts and back into the present. Taking a deep breath, She informs the class about the final exams that are just around the corner. The announcement is met with boos from the students, who are still unhappy about the tournament being cancelled. Meanwhile, Illo is giggling to herself as she listens to everyone ranting. On the other hand, our boy is starting to feel some butterflies for Illo. In the basement, Aaron wakes up screaming and panicked. He notices the headmaster standing there as well. Shocked by the dark and eerie place he is in, Aaron questions what is happening. The headmaster sternly reminds him that he almost killed his opponent during the last volleyball match. This revelation makes Aaron incredibly nervous and worried as he begins to wonder if he has actually taken Noah's life. However, the headmaster lies, telling Aaron that Noah's life doesn't matter. Instead, he claims the real issue is that Aaron has killed Illo, the noble daughter of Lord Sigrund. The headmaster elaborates on the immense influence of the Sigrund family and how killing their only daughter isn't a small matter. Attempting to manipulate Aaron further, the headmaster lies again, saying he has kept Aaron in the basement to protect him. Aaron is shocked, having just woken up from unconsciousness only to have all this laid upon him. The headmaster also reveals that he is protecting the relic as well. Saying that, he leaves Aaron alone in the basement, leaving him in a state of shock and disbelief. Eventually, Aaron falls asleep and begins dreaming about the church where he was sold during his childhood. In the dream, he stands in front of the church when a little girl calls out to him. She asks if Aaron is scared to return to the place he left behind. Aaron is visibly nervous and is at a loss for words when another child appears and asks if he feels any guilt. The child claims that since Aaron is destined to become a soldier on the battlefield, he will inevitably end up killing someone, so it might as well be acceptable. As Aaron grows more worried, more children appear, haunting him with reminders of his guilt. They insist it is his decision, and he needs to accept it. Mentally overwhelmed, Aaron screams, declaring that he hasn't killed anyone. Suddenly, a strange noise comes from behind. It's a sickening squelch of blood pooling and swirling. The mass of blood begins to take on a humanoid form, and it speaks in a chilling tone, asking Aaron to tell it what it wants to hear. Aaron lets out a piercing scream echoing through the darkness. Meanwhile, in Mumu's garden, Noah and his group are enjoying burgers. As they munch away, Illo suddenly pauses, realizing something isn't right. At first, everyone thinks she is talking about the burgers, until she reveals her real concern that they haven't received any explanation about what happened to Aaron during the volleyball game. According to her, too many strange things have been happening at the academy lately, and that incident is one of the most puzzling. Noah agrees with Illo, admitting there is definitely something suspicious about the academy from the very beginning. However, having never attended an academy before, he assumes that this is just how they all are. Illo finds his nonchalance strange, but continues voicing her suspicions about the academy denying their involvement with the monster they fought. Cootie chimes in, confirming that they were scolded for even bringing up the subject. This revelation makes Illo angry at Cootie for backing down so easily, while Noah's mind wanders elsewhere, to the letter. He can't figure out who would make such a strange request of him or why. Despite his curiosity, he hesitates to ask Illo about it, knowing she is always angry. So, Noah resolves to handle it on his own, determined to solve the mystery himself. To take matters into his own hands, Noah decides to leave the academy, reminding himself that he is a great fixer. He heads back to the bar where he originally received the first request. There, he meets the budget Andrew Tate bartender, who is visibly shocked to see him. The bartender, however, is slightly annoyed, lecturing Noah for not visiting him even once since enrolling at Renée Academy. Noah brushes it off with a half-hearted lie about being too busy and quickly shifts the conversation to the matter at hand. He explains everything to the Baldy, sharing his suspicions that whoever made the spy request might also be the one responsible for sending the wolf Teddy to Illo. According to Noah, it has to be someone close to Illo who made these requests, but he can't figure out why anyone would do such a thing. As he pours out his thoughts, the bald bartender remains focused on cleaning his cups. Frustrated, Noah asks if he is even listening. Calmly, the bartender sets down the cup and then, out of nowhere, smacks the shit out of Noah. Clearly annoyed, he scolds Noah for coming back after so long only to start making demands. Noah feels the sting in his skull but keeps his composure. The bartender reminds him sternly that revealing client details would be a betrayal of trust. Noah finds him annoyingly stubborn, but an idea strikes him that he got a plan B, which is stealing the bartender's ledger. Just as he is formulating the plan in his mind, another fist comes crashing down on his head, snapping him out of his thoughts. Noah trembles in pain, confused about what the second hit is for. Meanwhile, the bald bartender has done it to snap Noah out of his reckless behavior. He sternly warns Noah not to let his misplaced sense of justice drive him to do something he will regret. Grunting from the pain in his head, Noah reluctantly agrees to let it go and leave. As he walks away, the bartender casually calls out, asking Noah to bring him a souvenir next time. Noah immediately declines, stating he has no plans to return. He doesn't appreciate being treated like a child, but the bartender, with a confident smirk, mutters to himself that Noah will eventually come to his senses and everything will work out for him in the end. Traveling back, Noah realizes he is running late as night falls. Sprinting toward the academy, he panics when he sees that it is already past curfew. Upon reaching the academy gates, he is shocked to find them closed. Thinking about jumping over the wall, as he has done before, his attention is drawn to a visitor standing at the gate. It seems unusual for someone to visit the academy this late. As Noah tries to get a closer look at who it is, a guard catches him. The guard grabs him by the ear and drags him toward the gate, where the late-night visitor is also waiting to enter. The gate guard sternly asks Noah if he has permission to leave the campus. In response, Noah quickly pulls a permission slip out of his pocket to prove he is authorized to be out. The guard examines the slip and reads Noah's name aloud. Upon hearing it, the visitor grows visibly anxious and demands immediate entry. Noah, surprised by the urgency in the visitor's voice, watches curiously as the guard opens the gate. As the visitor enters, Noah can't shake the feeling that he has seen this person before. He stares intently, trying to jog his memory. The guard notices Noah's behavior and finds it strange. With a sigh, the guard tells him to stop looking at the guy. According to them, he is a visitor from the Royal Academy of Stiodan. Despite this revelation, Noah remains puzzled, certain he has encountered the man somewhere before. The visitor is Ruben, whom we encountered earlier, now intentionally disguising himself to go unnoticed. He has silky hair that he takes great pride in, but there is no other way to hide his identity as a researcher at an international institution responsible for handling forbidden relics. He is here on an investigation. Upon entering the academy, Ruben is greeted by the supervisor, who is thrilled to show him around. She is visibly astonished that someone from the prestigious Royal Academy has come to visit. Sensing her excitement, Ruben apologizes for the inconvenience of arriving unannounced. However, the supervisor waves it off enthusiastically, assuring him it is no trouble at all and expressing how delighted she is to meet him. She is a bit shocked because she thinks researchers' interests typically focus more on military matters, so seeing him at an educational institution is truly surprising. Hearing the supervisor's knowledge on the subject, Ruben begins to worry. To him now, it seems that playing a role there might be difficult, as he doesn't know much about education. The truth is, he has a personal reason for coming as he is looking for someone. However, the supervisor grows a bit suspicious of his interest in their students. Feeling nervous, Ruben tries to clear the air by claiming that it simply reminds him of when he was their age. Though the supervisor seems to accept his explanation, Ruben remains uneasy, fearing he has aroused her suspicion. As the supervisor clears her suspicions, she excitedly requests Ruben to conduct a special lecture for their students. Hearing that, Ruben lets out a breath of relief, glad she hasn't uncovered his true intentions. However, he knows he must be careful now. Realizing this, he lies, claiming that he isn't a good public speaker. In a suspicious tone, the supervisor asks if he is one of those researchers who only care about their work. Hesitantly, Ruben agrees, which only amazes her more. She then requests him to be a role model for their students. Ruben realizes that she is incredibly enthusiastic, and if this continues, his plans will be ruined. In the classroom, the Baldy trio are scribbling something on the whiteboard. They look really worried, and when they finish, it's a "get better soon" message for Aaron, along with a drawing. Meanwhile, in the background, Noah is still concerned about the client who requested the spy job. As he sits beside Illo, he leans over and asks her if she knows someone who knows her well, and is also wary of her. This question confuses her, so Noah speculates that it could be her butler, who might be after her inheritance, or possibly a sibling. Illo denies both, saying her butler is a softie and that she doesn't have any siblings. However, when she mentions not having siblings, she pauses for a moment. Suddenly, she stands up from her bench, screaming that they will have to go back to the woods where they saw that monster zombie. She points towards Mumu and Cootie, signaling them to get ready, but both of them start making excuses, terrified to go back. As the chattering continues, the supervisor walks into the class with Ruben following her. She announces him as a special guest for the class, revealing that she has invited a lecturer from the Royal Academy of Stiodan. Ruben awkwardly greets everyone, while Illo, seeing him, is shocked beyond belief as she recognizes him. He is her brother, the same Ruben who left after a fight with their father. As Ruben speaks to the class, he also notices what he came for. His full name is Ruben Hanna Sigrund, and he is here to find his little sister. But what happened that caused him to leave the Sigrund Palace? One night, when Ruben's father informed him that he was willing to go to war, Ruben becomes furious. He was enraged that their mother was gone and Illo was still so young, yet their father was planning to go to a war that wasn't even in their country. The father shouted at him, saying he doesn't need Ruben's approval. He screamed that, as head of the family, he makes the decisions and everyone simply had to follow them. That crushed Ruben from the inside, and disheartened, he decides to leave the palace forever. Illo, seeing him leave, ran up to him to stop him, even though it was pouring rain. However, despite her pleading, he had already made up his mind. He told her that he and their father don't agree on anything, so it was best for him to leave. Now that he's back, Illo is shocked that Ruben left years ago, so what could possibly be the reason for his return? As the class continues, Aaron remains locked in the basement, unconscious, with the relic still by his side. Slowly, he begins to stir, only to hallucinate Illo sitting before him, glaring at him with an unnervingly intense stare. Her eyes are filled with a terrifying energy, locking him in place. Meanwhile, in the classroom, Ruben explains the fundamental rules about ancient relics. He emphasizes that for every positive, there is always a negative. Essentially, if one uses a relic to gain something, they must inevitably lose something in return. To illustrate this, he gives an example. Someone might gain immense power through the relic, but in return, their life is gradually drained away. As the students listen intently, Illo sits trembling with anger, visibly disturbed by the lecture. Ruben continues, explaining that those who use relics often find themselves trapped in an agonizing, undying state. The more powerful the relic, the more severe the suffering. As Ruben continues his explanation, the same terrifying experience is unfolding in the basement with Aaron. In his delirium, Aaron hallucinates Illo sitting in front of him. She leans in, pushing him further, and asks if he is surprised to see her there. She claims that he has feelings for her, but hearing this makes Aaron feel nauseous. Illo's demeanor shifts as she presses him further, asking again if he likes her. Suddenly, her form transforms into a grotesque, blood-soaked blob, hurtling directly toward Aaron. The blob splatters against the wall behind him with its twisted and contorted faces leering at him, each one whispering chillingly, asking Aaron if he wants to see it. The grotesque horror seems to consume Aaron from the inside out as he struggles to escape the madness. The figure relentlessly haunts him, pushing him further into the depths of his fear, taunting him with the promise of revealing its true form. The relic relentlessly pushes Aaron, trying to force him to awaken it. Aaron, barely hanging on, grips his head and screams at it to leave him alone. He is visibly drained, his energy sapped, while the relic lies on the ground right in front of him. It is the relic itself causing all this torment, its dark power striving to manipulate him into using it. Meanwhile, in the classroom, Ruben shifts the focus to the dangers of summoning magic. He acknowledges that many of the students present are summoners, but he cautions them about the unknowns surrounding their powers. He emphasizes that no one truly knows where these summoned monsters come from or what worlds the magic connects them to. Ruben then speculates that summoning magic might even be some form of blessing, bestowed upon them by an unknown force. Ruben leaves everyone on edge, warning that they might not fully understand what summoning magic is truly capable of, or what secrets it might be hiding. The entire class falls silent, absorbing the weight of his words. With that, Ruben wraps up the lecture. Kuti is clearly impressed by his vast knowledge, while Mumu also offers his praise. Meanwhile, Noah feels a surge of new enthusiasm for summoning magic, viewing it as a secret, untapped power. He excitedly praises Illo for her strength, but to his surprise, she stands up and leaves without saying a word. Noah watches her leave the classroom, wondering what has caused her sudden departure. As Ruben strolls down the hallway, he is suddenly grabbed and pulled into a room. His disguise falls away, and he finds himself face to face with Illo. She is visibly furious, rumbling as she demands to know what he is doing there. Ruben looks at her with his frozen expression. Illo, growing more annoyed, grabs him by the neck, lifting him off the ground. She demands that he reveal everything, asking if he still considers her his sister. As she yells at him, Noah, our very own 007, overhears their conversation. He stands frozen in shock, realizing the reality. Noah is now in a bit of a bind. All he has done is follow Illo, thinking of her as a friend who is just upset. But now he has discovered that Ruben is her brother. The revelation hits him hard, and he struggles to process it all. To make matters more confusing, he can't understand why Illo has beaten the hell out of Ruben. After delivering the beating, Illo demands to know Ruben's reason for being there. Ruben stands up, clears his throat, and finally reveals the truth. He is there to pick her up. Illo, still confused, listens as Ruben explains that Stidoan, though seemingly peaceful, is on the brink of war. He reveals that the last war hasn't taken place within their borders, but the coming one is different. Illo, skeptical, asks how he knows all this. Ruben's response shocks her as he reveals that Stidoan itself is planning to start the war. Thousands of soldiers have already been dispatched to defend Stidoan's borders, with every noble family volunteering their members to fight. Ruben speculates that the Sigrun family must have received the decree as well. Illo's father has even been visited by one of the king's royal knights, and the Sigrun maids and butlers bow in respect. The knight apologized for the unannounced visit, took out a scroll and read it aloud. The decree, issued by the king, announced that the head of the Sigrun family will travel to the borders to prepare for war. Since it was a royal order, there was nothing her father could do. Hearing this, Illo feels disheartened. She knows that her father has spoken out against the war in front of the king. According to her, he has chosen to voice his opposition, even though it risks ruining their reputation and subjecting the Sigrin name to ridicule. Ruben denies it, arguing that their father has also participated in the last war when he didn't need to. He doesn't believe their father could change so easily. However, Illo, confident in her belief, yells back, insisting that he might change. She thinks their father is filled with regret, even if he won't admit it. Ruben, enraged, snaps at her, calling their father a coward for running away. According to him, their father uses the war as an excuse to abandon them because he can't handle their mother's death. Hearing this, Illo slams her fist into the wall with all her strength, freezing Ruben in place for a moment. She reminds him that this is exactly what he has done, abandoning her and running away. Ruben, stunned by her words, falls silent, realizing the truth in her accusation. He is shocked by her strength and reluctantly accepts his own actions. Meanwhile, Noah is observing the entire scene through the keyhole. Suddenly, he notices Illo heading toward the door, which makes him panic, causing him to hide behind it. Illo then slams the door open and rushes out of the academy. Noah is taken aback when he sees tears in her eyes. As he watches her leave, Ruben notices him and calls out. He refers to Noah as a fixer, implying he has business with him. As Illo hurries outside, the rain has already stopped, but she seems disheartened by what Ruben has said. He wants her to leave Stadoan before the war begins, and for that reason, he is staying at the academy to give her time to consider his offer. Illo, however, remains silent, lost in her thoughts. Back in the present, Illo finds herself deep within the forest, thinking about the choice she has to make. Back at the academy, Ruben reveals to Noah that he is the one who has requested him to spy on Illo. Noah is in shock, wondering why Ruben has made such a request. Ruben, in turn, counters with a question, asking why Noah has declined his request and why he has been following Illo around after that. This question makes Noah angry, and, hitting his chest, he boldly claims it is his own choice. Ruben finds this response odd, and while Noah tries to explain, he mentions that it is due to a career crisis. He shyly admits that they are friends, but Ruben doesn't find it convincing. Noah is also curious about why Ruben has asked him to spy on his own sister. Ruben shrugs and explains that he is just worried about her as a brother. Noah still doesn't find that explanation convincing, but rather than arguing further, he decides to leave. Ruben questions Noah about his sudden outburst, to which Noah furiously reveals that they should both be searching for Illo, as they are both genuinely worried for her. Despite being a bit surprised, Ruben agrees with him. Meanwhile, in the basement, Aaron is running toward an exit he has spotted. He feels hopeful, motivating himself to push harder as he is so close. However, just as he is about to reach it, everything around him suddenly begins to crumble. He falls to the ground as bloody tentacles sprout from the earth, burrowing into his skin. Aaron lets out a piercing scream, but then he realizes he is unharmed, sitting in the basement in front of the relic. The relic has done this again, and it is pushing him harder than ever to use its power. It transforms back into Illo's form, revealing that it expects Aaron to give up by now, but he has surpassed its expectations. Fed up, Aaron grabs the relic and begins striking the massive metal door countless times with it. The Illo form appears again, mockingly taunting him, claiming he can't escape like that. However, Aaron, filled with rage, swings the relic at the form with all his might. Meanwhile, deep in the jungle, Illo is kicking a tree in frustration, consumed by the words her brother has said. She keeps kicking it, screaming about how she has friends at the academy, but now he wants her to leave with him. With all her strength, she delivers one final powerful kick, venting her anger. She is furious. Even though her father can fend for himself, there is still the household staff to consider. As she wonders what she should do, she hears a rustling in the nearby bushes. Looking over, she sees Aaron, holding his summoning book in his hand. He doesn't look well, and seeing him in the jungle at that moment leaves Illo in shock. Aaron glances at her, and for a moment, he thinks she is the same figure that has been pushing him to use the relic. Illo is confused by it all when suddenly, Aaron unleashes a powerful blood splatter attack, sending it straight toward her. She barely manages to dodge it, leaping to the side, but not without getting a deep cut on her arm. Furious, she rushes toward Aaron to yell at him, but her anger quickly turns to fear as she notices that he has transformed into a monstrous form, emitting a strange red aura. She immediately realizes that this is far worse than she has anticipated. This time, Kyle, who usually is armed with water cannons, charges forward. But instead of the usual, he unleashes a ferocious blood cannon, powered by large cylinders of blood, radiating a strong, menacing aura. Illo, standing in front of it, immediately realizes she has messed up. Kyle lifts his fist, and without giving her a moment to react, he strikes. She narrowly sidesteps while her mind racing as she screams in confusion, questioning why Aaron is attacking her and what is happening to his monstrous form. Aaron remains silent with his monster relentless, launching attack after attack. Illo struggles to dodge them all, barely managing to keep up with the onslaught. Suddenly, the monster lifts its fist and stretches it toward Illo, catching her off guard. Just as it is inches away from her, she manages to summon her own monster, which intercepts the attack midway. Illo shouts at Aaron to stop with desperation in her voice as it seems like he is trying to kill her. However, her words fall on deaf ears. Kyle launches another attack with relentless aggression, while Aaron stands in the background, muttering incoherent words to himself. Illo glances at him and wonders if he has completely lost his mind. She tries to snap him out of it, yelling that the torment is over. But in Aaron's fractured reality, Illo isn't there. To him, she is the figure from earlier, the one taunting and tormenting him. Thinking about that, he clutches the relic tightly. He is consumed by guilt, convinced that it is his fault someone's life has ended. Illo screams at Aaron to stop, but he roars back, revealing in a chilling and inhumane tone that, to him, she is already dead. His words terrifies her, but there is no time to waste on them. Kyle leaps into the air, aiming a devastating blow at Garrosh. However, Illo and her monster manage to sidestep just in time. Seizing the moment, Illo commands Garrosh to counter. The creature lunges at Kyle from behind, slamming its head into the ground with full force. The impact creates a brief opening, and Illo dashes toward Aaron, determined to put an end to this madness. But just as she is about to strike, Kyle stretches out his massive hand and catches her mid-charge, gripping her tightly. Before she can react, Kyle unleashes a crushing blow on Garrosh, sending it sprawling. Illo's heart sinks as she realizes just how overwhelmingly powerful the monster truly is. As Illo struggles against her restraints, Aaron approaches her, the relic clutched tightly in his trembling hands. She notices its eerie glow and instantly realizes it is the source of this madness. Aaron sits in front of her with almost maniacal expressions. With a trembling voice, he pleads for her to disappear, claiming he is sick of seeing her. Meanwhile, Kyle prepares another devastating attack, charging it with the same malevolent energy as before. With a deafening roar, he launches it straight at Illo. Just as the blast is about to hit, Garrosh leaps in front of her, taking the full force of the attack. Aaron freezes in shock at the sight, unable to process what has just happened. Garrosh, undeterred, begins tearing apart the shackles that bind Illo, freeing her. Aaron's eyes widen in realization that she isn't dead. The truth hits him like a thunderbolt, but it is too late. Illo is already rushing toward him with her fist crackling with magic, ready to end this once and for all. Meanwhile, deep in the jungle, Noah and Ruben are still searching for Illo. The dense jungle is hard. Noah can't shake the worry gnawing at him that it isn't like her to miss classes, let alone vanish without explanation. As he ponders, his heart skips a beat, spotting her in a distance. Illo stumbles into view, clutching her injured arm, her face pale and weary. Behind her, Garrosh trudges silently, carrying an unconscious Aaron over its massive arms. Without a second thought, Noah sprints toward her, calling out her name. To his shock, just as he reaches her, Illo collapses, falling against his chest. Noah is left stunned, holding Illo as she trembles against him. However, someone else in the background isn't as thrilled. Ruben feels a bit of jealousy. Garrosh, sensing the moment is over, carefully sets Aaron down on the ground and silently vanishes. Illo, still shaking, manages to pull something out and extend it toward Ruben. It is the relic Aaron has been wielding, though now it is cracked, revealing a glowing blue substance swirling inside. The sight of it makes Ruben's eyes widen in shock, as he instantly recognizes the relic's true nature. Back at the Academy's nurse office, Illo and Aaron are both resting on separate beds, with Noah and Ruben by their side. Ruben is engrossed in studying the relic with intense focus, while Noah sits by Illo, still tired from watching over her the entire night. Illo struggles to relax, unable to shake the discomfort of being stared at throughout the night, though she understands that Noah has been there to care for her. Frustrated, she snaps at him, calling out his constant attention as something that isn't in her nature to accept. With a pointed gesture at Aaron, she reminds him that perhaps the injured one, Aaron, needs more care than she does, as it is in his blood. Noah can't help but think how cheesy her comment sounds, while Ruben, after carefully examining the relic, looks up at Illo with a serious expression, ready to ask her some important questions. Illo recounts everything she has witnessed in the forest, detailing Aaron's strange behavior. Ruben, seeking reassurance, asks if anything unusual has happened to Aaron after using the relic. Illo confirms that Aaron has been in a half-conscious, half-unaware state. Ruben, processing this information, speculates that the relic might be the ancient Shelkrino, a powerful artifact that went missing years ago during the Galagon War. He explains that during the war, soldiers stationed in a desert region received a mysterious flare signal. It was discovered that an ancient relic had been uncovered on the battlefield, prompting a request for wizards to secure it. Ruben continues, revealing that when the soldiers arrived at the scene, it was nothing short of a bloodbath, and the relic had vanished from its box. Ruben had been part of the wizard team sent to secure the artifact, and ever since, he has been tracking its whereabouts. To his shock, the relic has reappeared after 8 years of vanishing. What's more, it seems worn out, suggesting it has adapted to its environment and is somehow interacting with the surrounding atmosphere. Something quite unusual for such an artifact. As he explains all of this, Ruben notices Noah's casual expression and asks if he doesn't care about the relic. Noah, remaining calm, admits that he isn't familiar with ancient relics or wars. However, he expresses his desire to help in any way he can. Ruben is a bit thrown off by Noah's response, but he quickly reassures them that they don't need to help. He corrects himself, ordering them not to get involved, as the situation is far too dangerous. He wants them to leave the rest to the adults, as he has already contacted headquarters, and a team will arrive in 2 days. Ruben suggests that Illo get some rest while Noah should return to his classes. Noah wants to assist with the relic, but Ruben is confident the wizards will handle it. According to him, there is no reason for teenagers to be involved in something so serious. As Noah walks out of the nurse's office, he considers skipping class, but then he notices the headmaster rushing past him. It shocks him, thinking what could the headmaster be doing here at this hour? Meanwhile, back in the nurse's office, Ruben feels a bit embarrassed about what he has said to Illo. However, Illo straight up questions him about lying regarding the investigation team. It catches him off guard, but she can tell he is lying. After all, he is her brother. Illo, concerned, asks if something is wrong, and Ruben reluctantly reveals that he is waiting for a response from headquarters. But Illo sees right through him, knowing he is just making excuses. As they are talking, there is an aggressive knock on the door that catches both of them off guard. Ruben quickly runs to put on his disguise before opening the door. To their surprise, it is the headmaster. Since they haven't met before, the headmaster asks about his presence. After a brief, awkward pause, Ruben introduces himself, explaining that he found Aaron unconscious and brought him to the nurse's office. The headmaster doesn't seem relieved. He walks straight to Aaron's bed, examining him closely. Then, he asks if there is anyone else with Aaron. Ruben pretends not to understand the question, avoiding a direct answer. This enrages the headmaster, who glares at Ruben and asks again. Ruben is left in shock as he suddenly feels a sharp pain stab through his gut. As he gasps, the headmaster stands motionless, casting a dark spell. The pain intensifies and Ruben collapses to the ground. With a look of excitement, the headmaster picks up the relic, marveling at how it is almost complete. In his hands, the relic seems to heal itself completely. However, after a brief glance at Aran, the headmaster mutters that Aran isn't enough for the relic. His gaze shifts to a corner, where he questions what she thinks, knowing that Illo is hiding there. Meanwhile, Illo is left in disbelief and terror, fearing she might be caught. In the academy's cafeteria, everyone is enjoying their lunch. Mumu and Cootie are already eating when Noah joins them. Mumu asks about Illo, noticing she isn't with him. Noah is a bit taken aback, as he thought she had already left the nurse's office. Mentioning the nurse's office makes Cootie pause, worried that Illo might have been hurt. Noah suddenly realizes that Illo might not have eaten anything, so he grabs his plate to take it to her. Excited to show her what he has brought, Noah enters the office, but is shocked to find it empty. He then goes to other students to inquire about Illo's whereabouts, but no one has seen her around. He quickly informs the supervisor, who becomes angry with him. According to the supervisor, no student is allowed to leave the academy, and she yells at Noah, insisting that Illo wouldn't leave before the final exam. Cootie speculates that Illo might be studying somewhere, but Noah is increasingly worried, thinking that Ruben might have taken her with him. Growing more anxious, Noah suggests they search for Illo. They head to the jungle, though Cootie and Mumu are confused about why they are there. Noah explains that he has already checked the academy and she isn't there, so it's possible she left without informing anyone. He also remembers Illo telling them they should return to the place where they had seen the monster. That's why Noah has brought them there. Despite his doubts, Noah can't quite believe that Illo would leave the academy. As he is lost in thought, Cootie and Mumu suggest that she might have gone home since it is the weekend. Hearing this, Noah suddenly shouts, revealing something about her but stopping midway. He quickly ignores them and continues, saying that it is strange she has left no trace behind all weekend. Turning to them, he insists that they need to find her, as friends look out for each other, trying to motivate them to help. This only makes Cootie find Noah even more worried. Nonetheless, both of them agree to follow Noah's lead. Noah has a gut feeling that something terrible has happened to Illo, and as they cross into the restricted area, his instincts are proven right. They are stunned to come across a pile of bodies, along with the same zombie they had encountered before. Noah instantly recognizes the zombie from the tournament days. He wonders if this is what the zombie had been trying to warn them about when it was murmuring. As Noah ponders this, he steps carefully around the pile, leaving Cootie curious about his actions. As he makes his way around, he discovers a hidden door behind the pile that is left open. As Noah approaches the door, he turns to Cootie and Mumu, determined. He can't go back empty-handed. He has to find Illo. Cootie and Mumu finish his sentence saying they're all friends. With that, they step through the door, descending into the unknown. As they make their way down, Noah can't help but reflect on Illo's warning about not going too far. She might have been right. This seems like far more than he can handle. When they reach the bottom, they find themselves at a closed door, realizing they have hit a dead end. However, Noah reminds Mumu about the key he got from the tournament, the one that could open any door. As Noah takes the key and prepares to open the door, Cootie's worry grows. She fears someone might be inside, perhaps the same person responsible for the pile of bodies they discovered. Her concern is enough to unsettle Noah as well, bringing back the words of the baldy bartender about losing a sense of justice. It hits Noah hard that if he keeps going like this, he might truly regret it. But then, a thought crosses his mind, and a small smile creeps onto his face. He realizes he'd regret it even more if he turns back now. With that resolve, he pushes open the door, only to find himself staring at an unexpected sight of the headmaster's office. Everyone stands frozen in disbelief, but their shock deepens as they see Illo, unconscious and tied to a chair. They rush toward Illo while outside in the hallway, the headmaster is on his way somewhere, with Cyrus trailing behind him. Cyrus is briefing the headmaster about the recent happenings at the academy, including the unexplained absences. He offers to ask the students for an explanation, but the headmaster dismisses the idea, insisting he wants them to explain things in person. He lies, saying he'd be busy, and that Cyrus need not worry about it. Cyrus reluctantly agrees, while the headmaster gives a firm order to increase security within the academy. Meanwhile, back in the principal's office, Noah and his group struggle to untie Illo's ropes. Cootie, seeing Noah's difficulty, suggests that they take Illo to her room, where she might be able to use her tools to help untie her. Cootie is worried they will get caught, but Noah knows it is already too late as he hears footsteps approaching. Realizing they have no time, he quickly prepares his wind spell and targets a nearby window, shattering it open. The headmaster, who is just about to open the door, freezes for a moment, pausing at the sound. Noah, frantic, yells at the others to take Illo and escape through the window. He knows that with the window broken, the force field won't work, but as he is explaining, the headmaster steps into the room. Noah notices him and quickly tries to distract him, signaling for the others to hide. Noah lies, claiming he has accidentally broken the window. The headmaster, with a cold stare, responds that it is the third time he has done that. The headmaster, unimpressed, decides to punish Noah for breaking the window by ordering him to clean the bathroom. As Noah tries to keep the headmaster distracted, Mumu, Cootie, and Illo huddle under his desk, hiding in fear. In an attempt to divert attention further, Noah casually asks the headmaster about his whereabouts the day before. The headmaster, raising an eyebrow, asks why Noah is suddenly curious about that. Noah nervously laughs, claiming there is no particular reason. But then, in a bold move, he gathers his mana and hurls it toward the headmaster, shouting that he is asking because he might have killed someone. As wind magic slashes through the air toward the headmaster, he freezes in place. Noah, seeing that his attack has no effect, shouts for everyone to run. But just as they are about to escape, he hears the headmaster's voice, calm but filled with intent. The headmaster asks if Noah has a moment to answer a question. Noah is stunned, realizing that his attack hasn't even left a scratch on him. The headmaster, with his sharp tone, inquires if Noah has become a summoner yet. Confused, Noah tries to make sense of the question. The headmaster's eyes begin to glow as he presses further, asking again if Noah has mastered summoning. Still unsure of why the headmaster is asking such a thing, Noah remains silent. The headmaster, seeing that Noah isn't answering, realizes that he isn't a summoner after all. Without hesitation, he prepares his own dark magic attack. Realizing that the headmaster is targeting him, Mumu comes through in the nick of time. He dives, pulling Noah with him just as the dark magic attack tears through the air. The blast hits the wall, ripping straight through it, leaving both Mumu and Noah shaken but still standing. Mumu quickly regains his footing and, thinking fast, hurls a nearby sofa toward the headmaster. With a casual flick of his finger, the headmaster effortlessly slashes it in half. His power is undeniable, yet his demeanor remains disturbingly calm. As the headmaster blocks the sofa, he realizes it has been a diversion. Mumu and Noah have used the moment to flee, but despite their escape, the headmaster doesn't pursue them. His eyes linger on the office where Illo is still tied up and abandoned. He turns to the unconscious Illo, coldly telling her that her friends have left her behind while they make their escape. As Mumu gets further away, he finally drops Noah and Cootie, both of them panting heavily from the intense running. Mumu is exhausted, but Cootie stands in stunned silence, unable to process everything. However, to everyone's shock, Noah suddenly grabs Mumu by the collar and slams him against a wall. He is in anger as he shouts, demanding to know why Mumu has abandoned Illo when he had saved everyone else. Poor Mumu stutters, explaining that he has left Illo behind because Noah was in danger. However, Noah is furious, shouting at him that he told Mumu to take Illo and run. He is angry at Mumu for prioritizing him, but Kuti, frustrated, yells back at Noah, pointing out that his attack hasn't even worked, which is why they don't stand a chance of getting Illo out. Noah pauses, realizing that Kuti is right, and his anger starts to fade as emotion takes over. Kuti, however, is confident that Illo will be fine. She believes that the headmaster hasn't taken her life, even though it seems like he is using her for something. She also points out that the headmaster hasn't chased them either, which gives her hope. Hearing this, Noah realizes he has acted out of panic, and with a deep sigh, he apologizes to them for not thinking clearly. Mumu, however, is concerned about what they should do next. Noah knows they can't just sit around. While he acknowledges that he has no match for the headmaster, he also understands that doing nothing isn't an option. A slight smirk appears on his face as he realizes there is something they can use, their only hope. He leads them to an old summoning circle. As he touches it, Noah feels a wave of relief, glad that he has returned for it. Though it is worn out, he is confident he can make it work. With that, he pulls out the crumpled summoning scroll, recalling how Illo had scolded him for messing it up earlier. He places the scroll on the circle and begins to carefully study it, determination in his eyes. As the summoning circle activates, a strong flash of light erupts around Noah. He can't help but recall Ruben's words about summoning monsters and the countless questions he had asked during the lecture. He remembers all the doubts, all the confusion. In the midst of the green mana flowing around him, Noah yells out in frustration that he doesn't know about all the questions ramming in his mind. His voice echoes, but his resolve is clearer than ever. Despite his lack of knowledge about summoning, he knows one thing for certain. He never wants to lose anyone again. Fueled by that determination and an immense amount of mana, Noah pours his energy into the summoning. A powerful beam shoots into the sky from the circle, signaling the success of the ritual. The air around him hums with intense power as the summoning takes shape. As Noah completes the summoning, he is stunned to see the process has actually succeeded. There is a powerful lady warrior is standing before him. She radiates strength and her presence is commanding the space around them. With a calm but authoritative voice, she assures Noah that from this moment on, she will protect him. Meanwhile, back at the academy, Mumu and Kuti are sneaking toward the supervisor's room, just as Noah has instructed. Moving cautiously through the halls, they manage to slip inside without drawing any attention. They are relieved to have gone unnoticed. Kuti's eyes land on the phone they have been searching for, and as she reaches for it, a hand suddenly strikes her from behind. They are shocked to see that it is Ruben, badly bruised and in terrible condition. Both of them let out a scream which startles Ruben awake. He is coughing and vomiting uncontrollably, while Mumu and Kuti continue to scream in panic. Suddenly they hear the supervisor's voice coming from the bathroom as she enters with more medicine for Ruben. She too is surprised to see them standing there. As both of them are caught, the supervisor makes them kneel as punishment. Meanwhile, glancing at his watch, Ruben reveals his true identity to them, that he is Illo's brother and a member of the Magicians of Cumulus, and is tasked with keeping forbidden relics in check. He explains the reason for his visit, which initially was to meet his sister, but it has since shifted to retrieving the relic. During this process, he was attacked, and Illo was also put in danger. The supervisor listens in silence before finally revealing that she doesn't believe his story. Ruben pauses for a moment, then realizes why she is skeptical. To his shock, she claims that she will provide basic aid and help treat his wounds while allowing him to contact his guardian. Hearing this, Ruben thanks her, feeling a sense of relief. He uses the telephone and requests to speak to Lena. Meanwhile, everyone stands behind him, curious about his long conversation. After a while, Ruben hangs up, revealing that backup will arrive in approximately 2 hours. This news brings relief to everyone, while Ruben also mentions that he needs to discuss something else with the supervisor. He wants to contact another person. Upon hearing his request, the supervisor leads him to a private area, while Mumu and Kuti eagerly await the arrival of backup. In the midst of the excitement, Mumu asks how they will inform Noah about the backup. Kuti, hearing this, realizes they haven't even discussed where they will meet him. As night falls, Cyrus and his guards spot Noah strolling down the streets. He yells at Noah for being out so late and orders him to return to his dorm. Meanwhile, Noah, tired and unsure, doesn't know whether to trust Cyrus, as he might be involved in what is happening. When Noah refuses to comply with the order, the guards are surprised by his response. Noah, however, reveals that he has a question for Professor Cyrus. Hearing this, the professor replies that Noah can get his answer in class or after the weekend. To his shock, Noah summons his summoning scroll, yelling that it has nothing to do with class. He then raises his hand into the air, channeling mana all around him. With that, he successfully summons his monster warrior lady, who exudes a powerful wind aura. As she appears, Noah's confidence grows, and he boldly asks if Cyrus still refuses to answer his question. Cyrus, feeling disrespected by Noah's refusal to follow orders, draws his sword. With a swift motion, he slashes at Noah, but Noah quickly dodges, blinking behind him. Impressed by his own speed and strength, Noah loads his wind magic and unleashes a blast directly at Cyrus's back. The warrior lady's presence empowers Noah, but to his shock, Cyrus remains unharmed. He pushes his glasses back, realizing he will have to go harder on Noah. In a flash, he discards his jacket and rushes toward Noah with incredible speed, ready to attack. In an instant, he is above Noah, poised to slice him in half. But as Cyrus swings with all his might, Noah sidesteps, narrowly escaping the blow. This only makes Cyrus more determined, declaring that he will show Noah what happens to students who refuse to listen. The fight is on! Even as Cyrus fought Noah, he couldn't shake the feeling that something strange was going on at the academy. First, a professor had gone missing from class, prompting the headmaster to order Cyrus to attend a meeting in the absent professor's place, while also tasking him with increasing security around the campus. The headmaster's cheerful request for Cyrus to work on the weekend had already unsettled him, but now one of his students was acting completely out of control. It was all too bizarre, and Cyrus couldn't help but think that being a teacher was far rougher than he had anticipated. Back at the fight, Cyrus swings his sword left and right with relentless precision, but Noah is dodging every strike as if he is in his Ultra Instinct form. Despite dodging, Noah quickly realizes that Cyrus is far stronger than he had anticipated. His slashes are powerful, but the real terror comes when one sword strike is so fast it becomes impossible to evade. However, the warrior lady, Acasis, uses her wind magic to sweep Noah to the side, allowing him to dodge even the undodgeable attack. She controls the wind around Noah, moving him swiftly through the air and then gently landing him back on the ground. Noah is stunned, trying to process how he has managed to evade such an attack with such precision. Even Cyrus is impressed by his agility. But as Noah stands there, confused, he finally realizes that his summon, Acasis, is the one behind his miraculous movements. While this gives him a moment of relief, Noah also understands a crucial fact that he is a summoner now, but simply dodging attacks won't be enough to win this battle. Realizing what he needs to do, Noah rolls up the scroll, leaving Cyrus puzzled about his intentions. Holding the scroll between his teeth, Noah thinks to himself that he has never tried this technique before, but with Acasis' help, he feels confident he can pull it off. Gathering all his strength, he surrounds himself with a powerful gust of wind, the energy surging around him as he prepares to make his move. Watching this, Cyrus grows increasingly irritated and confused, his frustration pushing him to charge at Noah with full force. As Cyrus swings his sword, Acasis raises her arm, summoning a gust of wind that causes Noah to dodge the attack effortlessly. In midair, Noah twists and redirects himself with astonishing speed, leaving Cyrus momentarily stunned by the unexpected maneuver. With a resounding bang, Noah propels himself toward Cyrus, landing directly behind him. The sudden move catches Cyrus off guard, and before he can react, Noah delivers a powerful kick that sends him flying into the air. The impact leaves Cyrus reeling as he tries to process just how fast Noah has become. But Noah isn't done yet. He follows up with a relentless barrage of kicks and punches, striking Cyrus from all angles even as he remains suspended midair. Each blow lands with precision and force, leaving Cyrus in disbelief at Noah's incredible speed and power. As Noah lands back on the ground, he feels a wave of relief wash over him, thinking that the technique has worked. However, his moment of respite is short-lived as he suddenly hears someone call out his name from behind. Turning around, he sees Mumu and Kuti, who have managed to clear out the rest of the guards. Seeing them, Noah feels a wave of relief, but the atmosphere shifts as the scene cuts to Cyrus sitting alone in a room, his shoulders slumped with disappointment. He can't shake the shame of losing to one of his own students. Reuben, noticing Cyrus's dejected state, expresses concern and asks the supervisor if he had been in a similar condition when he first arrived. The supervisor confirms that he was worse. Meanwhile, Noah and his group are also there, and Noah awkwardly begins explaining his actions. He admits that he hadn't intended for things to escalate the way they did. With a hesitant tone, he reveals that he has just returned from his summoning and suspects Cyrus might have been involved with the headmaster's mysterious plans. However, after their confrontation, Noah realizes that even Cyrus, someone known as the headmaster's right-hand man, is unaware of what the headmaster is truly up to. According to him, the headmaster is working alone, which might make it easier to confront him. Hearing this, both Mumu and Kuti fall silent. Then, they reveal to Noah that reinforcements are on their way. According to them, backup will arrive in 8 hours, so he doesn't need to worry. However, the mention of such a long wait makes Noah uneasy. Meanwhile, in the headmaster's office, he is using his magic to create a force field, sealing off the entire area of destruction caused by his blast. Illo is tied to a chair beside him, helpless as he tries to intimidate her by bringing the relic dangerously close. Back in the supervisor's room, Noah realizes that 8 hours will be far too late. Determined to act, he decides to rescue Illo on his own. As Noah is about to leave, Ruben calls out to him, revealing that it is his fault things have gotten this bad, and he can't put anyone in danger anymore. Noah reassures him that he is stronger now. Although he might not be as powerful as the headmaster, he is confident in his ability to rescue Illo. He is determined, certain that there has to be a way. Noah knows they are in just as much danger if they don't act. However, Ruben grabs Noah, yelling that the headmaster has killed countless people, and no matter how strong Noah has become, he will kill him without hesitation. Noah grabs Ruben by the collar, arguing that instead of trying to stop him, Ruben should join him, as he is Illo's brother. He asks if Ruben isn't worried about Illo, and if he plans to just wait for 8 hours without doing anything. Hearing that, Ruben feels a pang of shame. However, Noah, furious, shoves him away, stating that if Ruben has nothing more to say, he will go on his own. Just as he is about to leave, Ruben stops him, claiming that he has a plan. The town is eerily quiet when a gust of wind slashes against the force field the headmaster has created. As the headmaster looks down the street, he notices Noah, who calls out to him, challenging him to show himself. With dark energy radiating around him, the headmaster steps toward the field, mocking Noah and asking if he has come to meet his death. Noah, however, is confident in himself. He acknowledges the headmaster might be right, but assures him he has a plan. Thanks to Ruben's revelation, Noah now has a hostage exchange strategy. According to Ruben, the headmaster had been sacrificing young students with magical abilities to further his goals. If they offer Noah as bait in exchange for Illo, it could work. Ruben, however, warns Noah that there is a risk the headmaster might not fall for it, but it is their best chance. The supervisor, on the other hand, is skeptical, concerned about the force field. Ruben explains that in order to make it work, they will need to lure the headmaster out of his office. He adds that if the headmaster steps outside the force field, they will be able to do something about it. Back in the present, Cootie and Mumu are busy setting up traps outside the headmaster's office building, while Ruben observes everything from the supervisor's room through the magic ball. Meanwhile, Noah, according to plan, offers himself as the bait instead of Illo, claiming he is far stronger. He yells at the headmaster to step out of the office and face him. The headmaster finds the demand intriguing but is curious about why he should agree. Noah, though nervous, pushes through his unease. In a fit of rage, he decides to take matters into his own hands. He charges at the force field, gathering all his strength, and kicks it with everything he has. However, to his shock, the force field doesn't even crack. Instead, the attack backfires, sending Noah flying backward. Acasis lifts Noah into the air as the headmaster mocks him, taunting that the shield is too solid for him to break and that he has only succeeded in breaking his own windows. Fueled by fury, Noah channels all his inner mana once again and with full force charges at the force field. Yet this attack also fails to make a dent, leaving Mumu and Cootie deeply worried. As Noah unleashes a barrage of attacks on the shield, the headmaster stands on the other side, smiling and calling it a waste of time. Ruben also watches in concern from the magic ball, knowing Noah is wasting his energy on the shield, even though it is doing nothing. Their goal is to lure the headmaster out, but Noah seems determined to fight him instead. As he strikes the shield, Noah remembers Illo's lesson about running out of mana and becoming useless in a fight. Realizing the truth of her words, he stops, but by then, he is already exhausted from his relentless attacks on the shield. Everyone watches with curiosity, wondering what his next move will be. Remembering Illo's advice, Noah begins to gather mana from his surroundings. His mana suction is incredibly powerful, and both the supervisor and Ruben watch in disbelief. Meanwhile, Noah draws an immense amount of energy from the atmosphere and channels it into a single, powerful kick aimed at the shield,